what's going on. So the first thing is first. Let me just pull. Oh, I don't know what I just clicked. Let me.
Yeah, so basically, like for context, I started with a nice win streak, and then uh, I basically had a week of work where I slept 3 hours a night and made the poor decision to play a bunch of ranked games after, and just kind of was a
Uh,
disaster at that point.
okay.
So
Yeah. Oof. Okay. Yeah.
I
Because
was
you
at like,
said you were 5-0 or something, right?
yeah, I was in like like low plat MMR and like doing easy, and now I'm like, and I was getting whatever, like 50 LP a game in placements, and then like, double promos like after placements, and then I tanked hard. Just like, it was one of those things where like you can kind of feel your mechanics are off, but I was trying to like spam games to like, one, get a good example, and two, just get rid of like, ranked anxiety from just not playing ranked at all.
Yeah. So, I guess to get a general thing, like what do you kind of see yourself struggling? Is it kind of like your laning phase, your game, like your game sense, like knowing what to do in macro, like just the matchups, things like that. Like what do you, in
Yeah,
your own
yeah.
personal experience, what do you think you have issues with?
I would maybe so I yeah I'd kind of maybe break it down into a couple things. I think um, when I'm playing well, I would say the area that I still probably struggle with is more the macro side. So it's kind of like, if I'm feeling good playing well, I'm like, all right, mechanics feel good. I'm like, going for kills at the right opportunities, playing team fights patiently, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still not 100% sure, what's the right place to be at kind of a given time. And then what kind of takes me from that to playing not well is a lot of it is just kind of like getting getting kind of nervy. Like I think a lot of it is honestly a mental thing. And then when that happens, when mechanics break down a bit, I start focusing on those, and then I lose kind of like the map awareness, the kind of
Mm-hmm.
zooming out and seeing the whole team fight. Like I start to kind of tunnel vision. I'm just like trying to do mechanics, and that's obviously like not a good way to do it, really.
Okay, so let me get straight. So you think like your laning is okay and your early game is okay, but like as later on in the game you get more pressure to do things and then your mental kind of starts breaking down and
I would
then you get more
I'd
nervous.
phrase that I'd phrase that a little bit differently, which is I think I think in a good game, I'm fine mentally throughout, and I think in
Mm-hmm.
a bad game, I start bad. So
Okay.
I think like when my mental is bad, I just start like nervy and laning phase, and then my Q's miss by a little bit, and I don't dodge skill shots because I'm too tall, like all that kind of stuff. Like I think starts right away.
Okay. Um, and I guess I'm assuming you're more trying to improve as much as possible versus climbing. Is
Yeah,
that
I don't really
okay?
care about climbing, honestly. It's if I feel
Okay.
like I'm playing well, like I'm good, and if I feel like I'm not playing, I get carried. I'm like great, I got carried, but like it doesn't really help me. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's perfect. I like that you're playing to improve versus playing to win. A lot of people do is they play to win. I'm not saying you shouldn't play to win. I'm just saying improve. In my own opinion, improving is the more important thing.
Yeah.
And like as you improve, your rank will reflect that, right? And
Yeah.
basically, the rank will come. It will always come as long as you're playing at a high level. Um, and I think like so like for these bad games and like when you have like bad mental, is it just because you had a previous game you played poorly and then your second game you just are frustrated on what happened in the last game? Like when you queue up, if you have the same exact teammates that just fed in your game, what is your reaction?
Yeah, it's a good question, I guess. So yeah, it's a question of like, is it just bad mental overall versus is it like tilting from like games in a row? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think it's a bit of both. I think it's probably more overall. So, for
Mm-hmm.
example, right, like I'm trying to do a little practice tool warm up, play some normals, like things like that, and a lot of the days it's like, and my normal like, I mean, obviously it's like less serious game modes, so people are trying less hard, but my normal like MMR, at least the average ranks of people in my normal games are like much higher. Like, it's and I'm
I
like,
see.
you know, I'm kind of popping off in them, like in a lot of
Yeah.
cases. Like
Mm-hmm.
it kind of, it goes back and forth, but it's probably like, you know, call it
Okay.
flat four-ish on average. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's, anywhere from D1 to kind of low silver in my normals, and I kind of feel pretty fine in them. Like feel good on
Mm-hmm.
mechanics. Like
Yeah.
there are games I get stupid fed and lose, and it's like whatever. I know I need to convert a lead better, but I'll do that, right? I'll have a great normal where I pop off. Be like, all right, I'm warmed up. I'll jump into ranks, and then it's like, oh man, we're in ranked, and then things start to get a little iffy.
Okay. Do you find yourself changing your playstyle from when you're going from normal to rank?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think there's maybe two parts to it. I think one is as I get nervy, I get a little, I get more impatient. Maybe is
Mm-hmm.
the right way to put it.
Okay.
So I'll try and like, so let's say we have a rank game where like, I have one teammate who keeps getting caught up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think in back of my head is like, well, I need to force something because it's going to keep happening, right? Whereas I
Yeah.
really should be thinking, okay, well, they're going to make mistakes too. Let's be patient and like, counter gank it or whatever, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So, how do we? I guess the thing we want to solve here is first of things. Let's look at like okay, bad game, bad mental. How do we recover from this? How do we fix this? And you said it's a little bit of both. So the first thing I would note is if you just lost a game and in your head, if you can't queue up again and imagine that the four same teammates you just played with by chance can be on your team. I know as you go up higher and higher, it's going to happen more frequently.
Yeah.
So if you cannot handle that, take a 5 minute break. Take a 5 minute breather. Go do something else. Even take the time to review your game. Like taking breaks plus reviewing your mistakes from last game will
Yeah.
give you enough time to basically recover your mental and motivate yourself. It I playing when you don't want to play and playing on tilt is going to just get you even more tilted, and that's just gonna snowball and snowball. Then I can be a good example of that because there are there's times where I lose like 4 games in a row on stream.
Yeah.
I get off and I'm like, I just lost 4. I need to play. Like I want to win. I want to win. I want to win. So then I queue up, and that 4 turns to 6, turns to 8. When all I could have done was taken a break, gotten off, came back the next day, and had fresh mental, and basically played at a higher level. Because like these early games, right? You see these games, these average tier gold 1, average tier platinum 4, and then you drop to average tier silver and then gold 4.
Yeah.
Like here, like look how well you're playing, right? You're doing super super well. And then I guess as it like trickles on, maybe because of it was this break you took, um, and I guess if you're gonna take a break, try to warm up on like maybe some you may not necessarily have to dive into a game and play a game, but you can just go into practice tool, brush up on what kind of the mistakes you made last time and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Brush up after taking a break because it's like if you were like comparing it to like if you were like running, right? If you ran for a whole week and then you were doing like something really hard, and then you don't do anything for a week. On the first day you come back, you're going to, if you run the same pace that you're running, like if you're playing at gold one, and then you all of a sudden are in gold one again, but you haven't played in a week, it's going to be a little difficult because you'll be rusty. Um,
Yeah, and like I guess what do you think is the best way to do that? Because what I've tried to do, and I think you see it in like the overall match history, but like I
mhm,
usually spend, call it 5 minutes in a practice tool,
mhm,
mostly try to do like the RE combo because I think that's like a good one to practice.
yeah,
And I'll play, call it you not always, or usually one or two models. And I I struggle a little bit sometimes because sometimes the normals almost give me like a false sense of confidence
mhm,
because I tend to like kind of pop off in those, at least recently as I've been practicing mechanics. And then
yeah.
like I kind of bring that into ranked and I try and do something and like it gets a little off and then it kind of like cascades a little bit.
For me, um, I think a practice tool is fine, but if I haven't played in like a week, it's more of like my clicking that is very bad. Even like after a couple of days, I feel like my clicking is just like not accurate,
Okay.
and your clicks are like kind of your most important things. If you don't feel comfortable with like your mouse, like if you can't go like if I can't like right here, if I was shaking my mouse around, if I couldn't immediately click on this fleet icon, there's an issue there. Um,
Okay.
if in the game knowledge, you don't really get rusty on game knowledge. That comes with experience, and you build up experience, and that tends to stick in your head. Like
Yeah.
if you can predict what people are doing, predict what your laner's gonna be, like how your laner reacts to certain things. That just comes with you playing over and over and over. And I don't. It doesn't seem like you play a lot. Um,
Yeah, so I can give you the context there because
mm,
I have a lot of games. Basically, I played, yeah, and they're like 99% normals, honestly. So I
mm,
played a lot from like season like 1 through 4,
mm,
while I was like in college. Basically, I probably clocked 2,500 games during that period, something like that. And then I stopped playing until probably the start of this year, maybe like February of this year, something like
yeah,
that. And came back into it, and or maybe it was December of last year, whatever, and like came back into it and figured out who these new champs were, and whatever. So I've probably played a few hundred games since that point, but
yeah.
I haven't really played ranked since like even in season 3. I basically played like 15 ranked games, like skipped a couple divisions, and then was like, all right, like I'm good. I'm going back to
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's like like the term washed up and stuff like that, like that stuff exists. A good example is in like season 8 for me, I like stopped playing a lot, and like season 8 and season 9 I didn't really play, and then I came back in season 10.
yeah,
The meta changes, things are constantly changing, which is why this game is so great and addictive.
yeah.
So like from like even 7 days ago, what was that, on the 9th to the 16th, a patch could have released, right?
Mhm.
And like there's gonna be constant meta changes. People figure out how to do certain things. People figure out how to um, build certain champions. Like how like different champions just rise. Like right now, Hecarim, they buffed his E just a little bit in the previous patch, and now he's all of a sudden become like S plus tier.
It's
Uh,
kind of
and the thing is, the jungler that counters him, even though it doesn't receive any like extra buffs, that becomes S plus tier all of a sudden because it's a counter to the S plus tier champion and things like that. But as I would say, if you play in chunks, just the main thing to fix that is try to like kind of warm up, especially if there's like a couple of day gaps. Um,
Yeah.
and you're saying how confidence affects like your confidence from normals kind of like gives you a false sense of confidence. Um, I think it's fine to be confident. I think it's more of don't get overconfident. Like don't think you're stronger than you are. Understand your strengths. Like you've played to where you're super fed before, right? Like you know where what 23-5 feels like.
Yeah.
You need to know what being 0-5 feels like. You need to know what being 5-4 feels like. And that comes with experience. Understanding when you can kill a champion. Like in this game where you're 5-4, in your head you think, "Oh, could I have killed Tryndamere with just a gunblade? Could I kill Tryndamere with just the Andres or Oblivion or things like that?" Right? Under that's where it takes it differs between gold, platinum, diamond, masters, grandmasters, stuff like that. Understanding like full strengths is a huge thing, and that comes with experience, one, or two, watching someone experience a similar scenario, right?
Mm.
If you see that I'm 1-0 and I have a gunblade against a rumble and I one shot him and don't miss anything, if that scenario ever happens to you again, you can kind of replicate it.
Yeah.
It's difficult to say because, like I said, this game is very different. Like each game is different. Each game can have different things. There's so many different combinations of champions, builds, scenarios. Like even them throwing in like the different dragons has made the game super different, changing the map, stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's
Um,
it's a really interesting point because I find like, and you see it here, right? There's a lot of games where, I did okay, right? Like I didn't feed, but
mhm,
I didn't do well, right?
exactly.
And pretty much every game I do okay, and without doing well or poorly, I lose. And I get very like, I think I don't have a good sense of how much I can do when I'm not fed, but I
Hmm.
have a couple kills and a couple deaths, and I like kind of am afraid of going into stuff. And then as that happens, like everyone around me kind of, dies, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm probably not contributing enough to fight.
Mhm. Yeah. And that we can look into on one of these games and figure out your thought process. But one thing I do notice that is common, like even one of my friends that is like a Diamond 4 jungler, he's when he plays assassins, he's afraid to go in because he's afraid to die, and it it's very hurtful to the team because it doesn't matter if there's scenarios where if you die but your team cleans up everything because you were able to contribute, that would be better than you hiding out and about and waiting for an opportunity because you were scared to go in and stuff like
Mhm.
that. And vice versa, there's also the scenario where if you were to wait and then you are the one that cleans up, that could be beneficial as well. But that has to become with kind of the decision making. Like, are you like, is this the right time for me to go in? Should I be the one going first so that I can distract? Akali
Yeah.
is very good for disrupting team fights.
Mhm.
I actually have a VOD somewhere. I need to look for it, but I have a video where I um basically I shroud in a fight and I like take four ultimates. Like but
Nice.
my team is killing someone else, right? Like you want to stall because you have an invisibility and things like
Yeah.
that, and I think that's what some people overlook. But
Yeah.
yeah. But let's look at this. What you could be doing better in terms of the I guess building and itemization choice, runization choice, and then we can look more into like kind of the more specifics with the VOD.
Yeah. And maybe just starting with runes. I mean, one thing you'll see obviously here, right, is that I pretty much run Fleet with domination every game.
Mhm.
Purely not because it's optimal, honestly, but just because it's safe, and I'm trying to kind of like gain that confidence with that, and then start to wean off the training wheels. I mean, I still think Fleet is great in a lot of situations, but I know there are certainly situations where there's a choice that's a little less safer, but probably better overall.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I do recommend Fleet to people who have trouble with lane and don't really understand basically the fundamentals of trading, because Fleet really helps you recover from bad trades. And even when I run Fleet, I take bad trades and I recover from it. And basically, Fleet, like you said, the training wheels to where once you understand things better, you can switch your ruins and stuff like that. But let's see. So you start off really well. This is it too old? It's 1 week. No. Okay. So let's see. Fleet, presence mind. You're into Yasuo. Okay, you're into Yasuo.
One thing I also forget runes all the time, just because I've played so many normals, I always forget to switch the armor and MR depending on my opponent. So you'll definitely
Okay.
see times where I'm like running armor into Galio and like shit like that. So that's just
Okay.
kind of that.
That could make or break whether you live.
Yeah.
So if you don't remember, make a note of it. Put a note on the. I don't know if you have dual monitors or something, or if you have like a notepad next to you, but even like a simple note, make note to change. Like even a simple note. I used to have this little sticky note at the bottom of my corner when I had one monitor
Yeah.
to not tower dive,
Nice.
because I would always tower dive, and you think you don't see it, but you do see the note. Like it's in the corner of your eye, and eventually you'll pick up you because you're seeing it every single day for hours on, and things like, I'm not just saying to just specifically like the armor and MI ruin, but like to other things, like other common mistakes you're making.
Yeah.
I do see you buy control words, which is very good. Uh, the question is, are you like putting them in optimal places? Do you know where the optimal places are? Do you know when you should be warding? Things like that.
Yeah. I think on that, I mean, I probably buy not enough control words, I would say. I try and back really often and just
Mm-hmm.
try and like keep up on an item advantage. But I would say I probably try. Usually, what happens is like I'll get to Gunblade, and then I
Mm-hmm.
grab a Sweeper and a control ward, and then I try and like clear one side and like roam towards my jungler.
Okay.
But that's kind of like what I go for generally.
Okay. Okay. Um. Yeah. That's fine to do, but I'm assuming in some of these scenarios you're probably roaming at the wrong time, or you're not pushing a wave or punishing more. But we can see. So I like Taste of Blood, Ravenous. I really like that. Runes are good versus Yasuo. Door and Shield start playing super safe. So you do beat Yasuo early. I'm hesitant on the arm guard. What was your kind of like process here? Were you just struggling against them early?
Honestly, this was like when I played Yasuo's in like non-ranked games, right? It's the way I basically treat the decision is like, is he taking my cues and autos early? And if so, I'm gonna rush Revolver. Is he not? And am I getting into worse trades if he like if I misplayed or he stay too close to minions and things like that? Then I'll go arm guard. And in this one, it was mostly honestly just like this is ranked game number one in like 6 years, so I'm gonna go with the safe option. And then, if I start feeling like this is going well and I'm winning pretty easily, which I think it got to, then I'm like, gonna like worst case, I played it a little too safe, but at least didn't like,
Mm.
open myself up to like risks. that way.
Okay. Yeah. It's pretty interesting because that is a really good thought process. That is how I like to think as well. Like, am I like, do I want a more passive play style? Um, but in this for this example, if you think that like you're afraid of the person or something like that, I would only do like seekers if he's already like giving me a shit ton of trouble, or if he's like a laner that like really counters me, right?
Mm.
Because when you play for a defensive setup, you're basically saying, I'm conceding lane to you, but I will farm to scale and carry later. That's what you're saying. Because if you're not carrying now, you better be carrying later, right?
Yeah,
Otherwise, you're just playing to get carried by your team. And I think your original goal is to be performing at the level you're satisfied with.
right.
And these handicaps are fine. I do actually like Fleet into Yasuo because it really gets you that move speed, that sustain. It's just super good. But the arm guard, I like the thought process. I think that's fine. And then Revolver, I personally would rush Revolver because I'm confident that I can beat the Yasuo matchup. But that I think you're just gonna need more practice and more confidence. And then I think whatever you feel, your thought process is good enough. We don't need to correct it. But my question and concern here is this boot. Um,
Yeah. So the reason I go Sorks in some of those situations is, and it's honestly something I kind of picked up from playing Kiana, but a little less strong, is if I feel like I'm forced into a bad reset and I want to get back to lane faster and I don't have enough for a full cutlass. And I think that I'm going to be trying to chunk down my laner a lot with like Q autos. Then I'll basically try and get that, because I think like, so in this game, right, I started with the arm guard with like, all right, like let me
mhm.
play it safe, and then it pretty quickly became like, all right, like I don't really need to play it safe against this guy, so I'm gonna try and basically like do what I need to try and like damage him with Q auto and like magic damage as much as
Mhm.
possible, like landing east. So
Yeah.
that's why like sometimes I'll do that, but or to like kind of help chunk him down, push out, and then have a little more move speed for roaming.
Okay. See, the thing is, in my opinion, building boots before you're building tier 2 boots before your gunblade, delays your gunblade power spike, and two, you could be getting other core components, right? So I think let me do my math. So you pay 800 to upgrade your tier 2,
Yeah,
and then you bought a control word as well. So that's 875. If you just waited just a little bit, you could have bought a vamp scepter. And in my opinion, I feel like the vamp scepter is more beneficial because you get the life steal and you get the 15 AD. The 15 AD is gonna help with your Q and your E and your R damage.
do you think it's still better if you don't feel like you need the sustain at that point? Like, do you think the 15 AD basically by itself is still better at that point?
I was in my personal opinion, I think I don't know the math on it, but I think and it feels like it does more damage because you're not accounting for the autos, right? You're getting
Right,
plus 15 AD for every single passive auto you weave in,
right. Yeah, no,
right?
that makes sense.
Um, and in laning phase, you're autoing a lot. Like later on in the game. That's why people build into these boots later on
Mm.
because later on you're these fights are so short. You're jumping in. You're blowing your whole combo. But in
Yep.
lane, you're gonna be, oh, I go in, I Q auto. Shroud, auto, stuff like that, right? E auto, things like that. And that's actually going to benefit you more because if you think about it, you don't really need the sustain, right? But what if every single auto you did gave you even 5 HP on Yasuo and you
Yeah.
auto him 10 times in lane? That could be make or break whether you live with an ignite tick or not.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And having the extra sustain as well helped you survive, stay in lane longer, so you can push. You can basically have more pressure because you'll be higher HP, as well as you'll be less likely to miss CS because you have more AD.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, if you're comfortable with this, you can continue with it. I'm not going to stop you from building what you feel is comfortable. I would say give the Vamp Scepter a try. See how it feels. You don't base it off of one game. Like base it off a bigger sample size first, and you could try it in a normal game first. That's the only really concern I have with this build. I think Oblivion Orb's fine. It's very snowbally item though.
Yeah, I'm finding with like the E change that I just do like just surprising amounts of damage with like 1.5 items, at like that's probably
Yeah,
level nine
definitely.
ish.
Yeah. Um, Everything else looks really good in this. My only concern was the bids.
Yeah, makes
The
sense.
CSing.
Yeah, my rank CSing is kind of garbage, honestly.
Do
It's
you have trouble CSing in lane? Like, if I pushed you under your tower right now at this moment, can you hit all the minions?
I
With
will I will caveat by saying if I'm not nervy, and then everything goes out the window. But I would probably get, if you gave me, call it, uh, 2 waves pushed under tower, I'd be comfortable getting, call it 10, and I'd probably mess up 2 of them.
okay, so the thing is, you're comfortable with getting 10, but you should be getting 12, right?
Yeah,
Because if you get pushed in for 20 minutes, who knows how much CS you're missing, right? That's
yeah,
a lot of CS, and that adds up because if the enemy's pushing you in, most likely they're clearing the whole wave really fast, and
yeah,
you're going to be missing all that. You're going to be down that X amount of gold. And
yeah,
as you're playing more safer and safer matchups, and you're getting higher and higher up, solo kills happen less frequently. In that one promo game I played, the only kills that happened were when Olaf ganked. There was like almost virtually no solo kills, and you gotta keep like I like to use those things as an example because you can't assume that you're gonna be getting gold off of kills, right? What if you get camped the entire game and all you get a chance to do is farm?
yeah,
You need to hit that CS. You gotta be comfortable and from what it seems like you get like you said you get nervous from ranked and that really just comes with experience and confidence. Like I don't need to tell you that I guess you need to be confident because it shows in these first 4 games, right? The
yeah. And I
rest you
find
struggle a little bit.
over trading and
Mhm.
like just kind of like trying to almost like force like trades, and then like, because so like for example, right, like when I play someone like I used to play a bunch of Oriana like a few weeks ago, and there's some
Mhm.
really good videos, right, talking about like how do you think about how to like the identity of a given champion, right? And with that, it was very much like you know trade if you really have to, and then just farm the rest of the time. And I like I find when I'm playing well on Akali, I have that same kind of mentality because people will make enough mistakes that you don't have to force a trade. And when I'm not, I'm just like, even in these first games, right? I'm just like, oh well, I forced a trade and the trade went well, but I missed a few CS, and then like you said, right? Like then it got pushed to a tower, and I missed another couple CS, and it all kind of like adds up.
Yep. The gold adds up over time, and you're going to notice. I'm going to point out a lot of examples on where you miss gold when we review your pod. It is a common theme that happens amongst everyone, including myself. And the only way you can fix those is by seeing what those mistakes are, and if that scenario ever happens to you again, you have to be able to make the correct decision. It's all about the correct making the correct decision, and improving your decision making comes with experience and knowing what would be the correct play. But in terms of trading, I think it's okay to force a trade if you know you're going to win. But for example, like, were you against Jace or Karma here?
I was against Karma.
Okay, it's you. If you force a trade onto Karma, what she'll do is she'll shield herself and just root you.
Yeah, luckily
And
this one was kind of bad, but
yeah,
yeah, a
you
decent.
you you obviously like dumpstered her, but I'm saying like in a scenario where let's say the guy's even skill with you or higher skilled. It's fine if someone's higher skilled than you. You can definitely just you can outplay them. Uh, like they may be superior in like maybe macro or micro, but everyone makes mistakes and everyone can be outplayed. But in this, it seems like you did well and you dumpster the karma. But I would just be careful in certain matchups, like if you're against like a karma, a LeBlanc, a Jace.
Yeah,
If you force a trade, they will take probably half of your HP for free if you don't land anything. And you only want to force trades that where you're comfortable in that you can win. Like,
yeah,
do not
yeah,
force something where you're hesitant, like because you're impatient or you're nervous that something's like gonna happen, something like that. Because you also gotta keep in mind when you force these things, 95% of the time you're not looking where the jungler is, and then you
yeah.
go, oh fuck,
I found that out. That's for
and
sure.
then you back up. You either have to blow summoners or you just completely have to waste ulti or your all your cooldowns because jungler shows up or you get killed, stuff like that.
Yeah,
And that is also another really big thing. Is actually I should take note of that. That's a very common thing that I've been seeing is that a lot of people may do not pay attention to where the jungler is, and that is it's super punishing, but it also it you're more likely to make a bad play if you're not like thinking about like map awareness and stuff like that. But it's your build here is fine, I think. He built MR. Um, what would be your next item after Oblivion Orb here?
let's see. So usually I will go Oblivion into Leandries. There's some games where I'll go either Zanya's next or I'll do like a triple component thing if I got arm guard. So it'll be like arm guard, Oblivion, and then like haunting guys and Leandries.
Okay.
Yeah, so here I think in this game, just trying to remember the team comp. Yeah, I think I would have gone Leandries here mainly because like they don't really have a lot of HP to burn, but given like Lulu, Karma, Echo, like there's a lot of healing and shielding, so I would expect that like I'd want that in a sustained fight so that I don't get like so that I can kind of whittle them down and keep that passive up.
Mm. So Leandris would be your answer.
Yeah,
Okay. Um,
I think.
I don't think that. I think that is okay. I think the better answer here would be Hourglass.
Okay.
And my reasoning is because you have two champions that can reveal you in your shroud, as well as you have you're against two very AD heavy champions. One of them's a lethality, the other was an ADC.
Yep.
Plus, there's a root from Jinx.
Yep.
So if Echo, if Echo stuns you, if you know he's gonna land a stun, you could Hourglass. If you get rooted by Jinx, Hourglass. If Karma puts her tether on you, Hourglass. If Lulu uses her E on you, Hourglass. And the reason why I think Hourglass is the better, like, basically overall, is that if you get hit by any of these abilities, you can stall and wait it out, like, because they can. The issue is that when you're against champions that can reveal your shroud, you have to, like, when the minute you reveal yourself, they're going to put some sort of tether or, like, visibility on you and then blow you up. Like, not having Hourglass in this game is fine. I wouldn't. It's very sketchy to build into Caitlyn. But, like, if you, like, no one here can reveal you in your shroud, right? Maybe Thresh if he lands his hook. But, like, it's way easier for them to land their skills because they're point and clicks, right? That's one thing. Two is Jace does a shit ton of damage, and that armor is actually going to help you a lot in these fights. As well as the stasis is really good for stalling if you get trapped by Jinx. It's hard because when you jump in here, you're gonna most likely get CC'd. You're gonna get polyed. If not you, then your teammates will be, and then you will be afterwards. Leandries is a fine call if you wait out team fights. But sometimes you have to be the one that disrupts fights. You have to be the one that dives in and makes the play, right? The entries definitely gives you the damage. If you don't, like, you have to be aware and switch up your playstyle. Like, did you account for Lulu's polymorphs? Because I see here you don't have merc treads.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe a couple points. One is the revealing thing is really interesting. I honestly didn't think about that at all, so that's really helpful. Two, the initiation thing is also helpful because looking at this team, right, like my Blue Kane and Yi, Jin Yummy are definitely not going to be initiating anything unless we're stupid ahead, which we kind of were at that point. And then to, like, the polymorph point, that was honestly kind of one of those things where she just, like, I just didn't really think she was going to play it well just based on how she had been playing it. And so it just became, it's part of that, and part of it is, like, there's two other big threats on my team. Three other, she's usually trying to polymorph B or Kane. So generally I was able to just wait that out, like, in team fights, because she honestly just did it too early a lot of the time. And then, like, blow up Jinx or blow up Jace in the meantime.
Yeah. So it's, like, kind of sketchy because what if you jump in and you get polyed and they instantly kill you? Right.
Yeah.
Then you force your team to play a 5v4. And no matter how far ahead you guys are later in the game, if one man is down, the other team will most likely win. The team numbers mean a lot more in late game than it does early game. Because like, early in the game, if you're 1v2, you can make an outplay, but, like, a 2v1 will most likely win unless, like, you're just so ahead. But I think your thought process is fine here. You have other threats. You want to go in and you kill their carries as fast as possible. But what if that Lulu was good, right? What if she was good and she reacted, polyed you, and ulted whoever you jumped on? You're most likely going to be dead. And the Merchants really helps against Echo karma and lose damage.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's kind of like planning for worst case. Like either if they play, either if you have someone who's good and plays well, or if you have someone who happens to do a good play. I mean, either one, you're caught out without having like prepared
Yeah.
for it.
I would say like because even one poly is enough to one poly duration is enough to kill you. Considering you're not running unflinching, you're only running one tenacity.
Yeah.
But like short boots are fine. Just keep in mind you may need to be building mercs into some comp like this.
Mhm.
Um, I like to build merc treads when there's a TF or there's like a Lulu. Um, Stun, Fear. They have a lot of that. This is
This was a Mercs game.
This is 100% a Mercs game. I do like to build though. I do like the Leandres into Morellos, Oblivion Orb. It seems to me you like the Oblivion Orb too. I like it as well. I think it's fine to build. Just note that it doesn't scale as well as a Leandre's second item for like pushing Leandre's second item.
Yeah, what I was thinking here is like because I was against a Galio, and I think you had like something on this in your Galio matchup guide, but like that he usually doesn't build MR in his core item.
Yeah.
So I figured like, all right, he's out farming me a lot, but he's not like he's getting picked, and I want to basically like get through him quickly in a pick because like that tanky team comp in a 5v5 is like scary.
Yeah, that's definitely perfect. Especially since like if you look here, Caitlyn has no MR. This build is actually really good. I have no issues with this build. Possibly Merc Treads. It's a little sketchy to go Sword Boots here, but I think the Oblivion Orb is good. It's just that if you the thing is as you're going to play more games and improve, you're gonna run into people who don't miss their CC, who use their CC at the right time, and you gotta keep that in mind. That if you were to get CC'd by Galio, Malphite and Warwick are probably gonna stack their CC on you.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But I think the thought process is good though. The thought process, and having that thought process shows that you can think and make these decisions. You just need to know what your other options are and the reasoning. Let's see. You're against a. Were you mid or top? Top against Lucian?
I was. Yeah. Okay. This is the one I asked about at Discord. I was top against Lucian, and then I was beating him pretty bad. At least at the time, he like split push and farmed a lot late game, but also didn't do anything. I was beating him pretty bad, and then he swapped with Annie. So then it was me against Annie top.
Okay. Yeah. I would run Resolve into him.
Okay.
Because the Lucians, if they play the champion and play the matchup, you're not gonna be able to sustain with this. You're gonna basically they're gonna make it so that every time you have Taste of Blood, you're gonna lose the trade. But Second Wind and maybe like Overgrowth or Revitalize, even unflinching is good. But I would say the Resolve is a lot more. It's a lot safer with the healing because you don't have to actually hit them back to get the healing. I think the Taste of Blood is fine, but you gotta make sure that if he hits you, you need to hit him back. And from what I see, what a lot of people do is when people get engaged on, and when they're in a losing lane, they just take free damage. And that is a common mistake, but I don't have any like disagreement with the runes. I'm just pointing out different like what can like different options that you could be more comfortable with.
Yeah.
That's more a give it a try and see how you feel. Like if you notice in some games, I go, I think this. I think I'm feeling a little bit more aggressive. I'm feeling a little bit more passive. I'm gonna go this right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I pointed this out to someone else. Like you're not a champion where you can just build and optimize whatever you want and then win. You have to do what like you're comfortable with and what feels the best to you and what is like kind of like optimal, right? Like you can't run Halo Blades here and carry the game unless you're
Yeah.
like a tier higher up, right?
Yeah.
And I like to use Bard as a good example because Bard, you got people running Guardian, Aftershock, Halo Blades, Airy, all that stuff, and they still like they build like Fleet, Omni Stone, stuff like that, and they still win games because Bard's broken. But
Yeah.
Akali, you have to itemize, you have to pick the right rune. But yeah, this one game, I don't know. Yeah, you should have gone the MR shard here too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just to note that. And I'm assuming you know the reasoning, well, for like when you should run armor, when you should run MR, or do
Yeah.
you? Okay,
I
okay,
just
cool.
forget to change it, honestly.
Okay, yeah. So this one's a good game. You're against Riven here.
Yeah, this was weird. So my Talia, so I was playing top here, which was I think the first top one in this series, and my Talia like ganked for me top like 5 times in the first 4 minutes. Like, and honestly, like I like I appreciated it, but at the same time, I was like, I I'm probably not gonna take advantage of you like ganking Riven under her tower and like chipping her down a bit like
Mhm.
5 times, and
Yeah.
then it kind of became a lot of like me against the Riven, and the Riven was she's like shows his own rank, but she was like pretty solid. Like she had like the fast combo down, like was able to like freeze. Like I wasn't wave managing super well, but she was able to like freeze pretty effectively at her tower. I think if I remember right.
Yeah.
And then it just became a lot of like you know me. I think probably just not using teleport well and like hanging out with the Riven top lane while everyone just kind of. I mean, they just kind of all died a bunch.
Okay. Yeah, this would probably be a pretty decent game to look at to see why Zed is so far ahead. It's a little iffy because it seems like if I were to look at this game, I would say uh, there is a team diff, and not in a bad sense. Like I'm blaming your team. I'm just saying that there was probably a little control you could have had over the game. But there could have been opportunities for you to carry though as well. So this is a pretty good game. Um, yeah, the boots. I'm a little sketched out about because you probably could have bought Cutlass with this combination. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember if I got like a couple kills between the 10 and 12 minutes or something. 'Cause I don't think I had much gold left over at 10 minutes, but yeah,
At 10 minutes, if you just built, I don't know,
I
like
mean, I could have built like Vamp then, probably, and like
Vamp
finished.
Scepter and Control Ward, or
Yeah,
Vamp Scepter or Longsword Control Ward, and then back for the Gunblade at, or back for the Cutlass at 12 or 13 if you have the opportunity, or just wait until like 16 or 15 to buy the Gunblade. That could have been an opportunity. It's just the thing is like I said about the bids. It's just you're missing so much, especially even in top lane. This is even more like impactful because you're trading a lot more
yeah,
and the waves. A lot of wave management and sustain and short boots aren't gonna really do anything for you there.
yeah.
Um, I'm assuming you went hourglass second because you were against a Zed and Zed was fed and you were playing against a Riven.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I used to rush Hourglass, but I felt like it doesn't really. You can't really do as much damage as if you were to have like a haunting guys, Leandres, Morellos. Have you ever noticed that there's like a difference in damage that you deal?
I definitely have. I think in this one, it was like more about your earlier point about like Hourglass Engage, right? Because we had like
Yeah.
basically a full squishy range team, which was, I mean, just kind of a garbage team comp,
Mhm.
honestly. And my thought was like, all right, I'm getting like reasonably farmed in top lane. It'll help me a bit against Riven, it'll help me a bit against Zed, it'll help me against Jinx. But like we have no engage, their whole team is dead. Pretty much our only hope of winning at this point is like for them to blow a bunch of shit on me while like, Zoe lands a bubble and like Cog gets like some free
Mhm.
range.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. The thing is, with this, the difference between this comp and the other comp is that you can stall in your shroud. If Nautilus ultis you, shroud. If Jinx puts her root down, you have shroud. If
Mhm.
Zed ultis you, shroud. Any CC they have on you, you could be in your shroud.
Mhm. I
Um,
understand.
that is the difference between this and the other one. Like the other one, Hourglass would have been a good third item. In this one, Hourglass would also be a really good third item. I just don't think the thing is, Jinx. If you had gone like Leandries or Morellos, I would go Leandries here. But if you had that, even haunting guys Oblivion Orb, you would probably have killed Jinx or even Echo, looking at their items. And having that extra damage could make or break whether you win a fight. But I would say Hourglass is probably not the best decision here because you can use your Shroud to stall. And you want that extra damage to be able to carry. Pocketing Arm Guard if you're having problem issues is perfectly fine, but finishing the Hourglass is questionable.
Do you think you would do like a stopwatch into haunting guys kind of thing there?
My reasoning for stopwatch is if you're about to fight and you need some invulnerability to stall and you think it's going to stopwatch is a very good item to have, but if you misuse stopwatch, you're down 650 gold.
Yeah.
Um, if you're about to fight for like third dragon or baron or something like that, you have 650 gold. I would buy that over an amp tone.
Hmm.
It also your whole team had 4 sweepers. I would keep the yellow trinket in this scenario or switch to a blue. Even a blue trinket's good here so you can kind of see where Echo or Zed are so they don't chase you. You
Yeah.
don't really need the red trinket here if your entire team is just I don't know why they have all
Yeah.
Zoe's
Honestly, like I didn't even notice that.
yeah.
I had no idea that it was
Because
sweepers.
4 sweepers isn't gonna do anything if the enemy has 2 yellows and one like kind of sidestone, right?
Yeah. I mean,
It's not you're gonna basically be clearing nothing, and I'm assuming based off of your wards killed, and even your team's wards killed, right? Like look how low the wards killed are. Like let me that's not a big game. That's for sure. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to look for average, some similar dirt. Like 24 minutes, 26 minutes. Like in 26 minutes, and he had 1 sweeper. We had like 2 sweepers, and we killed 10 wards.
yeah.
Right, 10 wards. You guys have 4 sweepers, and you guys killed around what 7? Okay, the whole team, like 3, 7, so 13 wards total. And your team had 4 sweepers, and you killed 18 wards. Basically, like you basically almost the same amount if you had half the amount of sweepers, right? Imagine had you had like a blue trinket or yellow ward, you can see where the enemy is. You can make picks. You can make plays. Right. It'll prevent your team from getting picked off. Stuff like that. And that's just for consideration. Like this enemy team's ward setup, I really like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But let's see. Let's move quickly through this so that let's see. Um, looks good. You're against a bell cause. Oof.
That was a rough matchup. I've played so rarely against spell causes, and I was
Yeah.
definitely nervous here, and I just kept eating damage and backing, eating damage and backing.
Yeah, that's
I
what it
eventually,
seems like. You backed, and then you came back to lane. You back. 12-minute gunplay though. That's not bad.
yeah, I don't remember what happened between 8 minutes and 12 minutes, but obviously like 4 kills or something. I think I might have gotten a triple right at that point or something.
Your build is good though. Your build is fine. Yeah, your build's fine. Uh, if you were having trouble, the Oblivion Orb's okay. Sometimes not going Oblivion Orb and getting the early entries as soon as possible is also really something to keep in mind. But I think Oblivion Orb's fine. It's really preference. It's just
Yeah,
it does.
they had like no MR, I think, except for like a little bit on Nautilus. So I
Yep.
figured,
Yeah. Oblivion Orb's actually it's actually not bad here. Especially because you can one shot. You're against Vlad.
trying to remember. Can you go back to the overview for 1 sec? Yeah, I was against Vlad. I remember. I remember this game because the Soraka wanted to dodge because apparently I was bad, and then I went a clean.
Yeah, just mute those people. Those people you just gotta mute those guys. If you notice, I mute right away when someone
Yeah,
says something. Yeah. Instead of going the arm guard, I would try to finish the Oblivion Orb, especially since you're against Vlad Nunu.
yeah, yeah. I don't know
But
why I'm here. Honestly, looking at their comp, I mean, I don't know if Zed and Caitlyn were super bad or something, but I'm not really sure why I went.
I think probably Zed and Caitlyn. Seems like you did well though, and maybe because your laner is not too very behind, but I would go Oblivion Orb against that healing, and then that puts a lot of pressure on basically Caitlyn's heal, Nunu's healing, and Vlad's healing. If not, then your team needs to get executioners, and Yone doesn't have it. Only Caitlyn does, and Sejuani doesn't have Bramble Vest. The thing is, it's hard because you can't. What I like to tell people is you can't depend on your teammates. You have to play your best. You have to be performing your best, making the correct decisions, and then you also have to just hope that your teammates will listen to what you say and make the correct decision. If not, you don't have any control over it. That's just solo queue.
Yeah.
But Morelos, definitely Morelos, into this. Not finishing the arm guard. I would go straight into Morelos.
Yeah.
And my logic is because of the healing. I would go Resolve into Vlad for the sustain. Second win. I do think Taste of Blood is fine, but you gotta you gotta hit him back and not be careful of his empowered Qs. But early on, Resolve will really be helpful if you like that crutch. I personally I think maybe Domination would be the go-to once you get more comfortable.
Yeah, in this game, I remember like, and I mean, there's honestly a lot of the theme here, which is like me making a decision, assuming someone's not going to be good, and it's often true, but that's not necessarily a good reason to like make the decision, right? Like Vlad, for example, here, like I'm beating him pretty bad. I start roaming because I think we're losing, like kind of losing across the board. Mostly like Soraka is getting picked.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think I was up probably 30, 35 CS, something like that. And
Mm-hmm.
then I was like, the only hope right now is roaming before like Vlad pretty much scales out of control or Soraka dies
Yeah.
another
Yep.
times.
Yeah. That's definitely true. The thing is, if you're 35 CS ahead or something like that, you need to carry your lead. It seems like you're forgetting to farm. Maybe you're not like catching sideways, but we can figure that out. Um, Against mid, Cassidy probably got outscaled, or Quinn just was a monster.
This is honestly might be a decent one to watch. Is this one I had a pretty good early lead. I laned fine against Cassidy. He did a good job of catching up on farm later, but
Were
I
you
think I was
even with
like
them?
I think I was up. I was winning in farm by a good amount initially, and then I basically fought while he farmed, and it was more like it was more the Quinn like making picks on Ornn, I think
Mm-hmm.
was a lot of it. And
Yeah.
so like it like let me put it this way. By the time that Cassidy got strong, like we were already pretty far.
Okay. Yeah. So if what I like to say is, if you're even with Cassidy or you're not super ahead, you're losing.
Yeah.
And that's just because once that champion hits level 16, you should lose. Like
Yeah.
it's the nature of it. That champion is just disgusting, and that's why a lot of control mage mains ban Cassidy, because of the fact that no matter how well you can play, if a Cassidy just waits and farms to 16, you will lose the game. Um, and it seems like here that Quinn kind of just snowballed. She didn't clear any wards. She cleared one ward. So it most likely was the fact that you guys just didn't ward and didn't have vision of her, or didn't like communicate where she was, and she was able to make these free picks. You should be able to kill her. Look
Yeah.
at
And
her build.
that's why I got that arm guard too. Like you see the arm guard right after Gunvolt,
Yeah,
which is a little weird, but it was basically I think I got one or maybe a solo kill or two on her, something like that. But I
yeah.
was basically
Yeah, so basically you're the guy that kills Guinevere. But the threat is Caston. You don't have any control over whether Quinn shits on Ornn and lane, but you do have impact on whether you win lane harder. It can make a bigger impact for you and your jungler. So this could probably be a pretty decent game for Rio.
yeah, I think so.
But your build is fine here. The same logic you go for. That's a lot of gold.
Yeah, I got a bunch of kills in there, I think.
Did you have like a really heavy team fight, like you won super hard, something like that? Because that's pocketing. I'm not sure if you pocketed it all, like because it did was a 4 minute span.
Yeah, it was 4 minutes. Yeah, I wasn't like waiting on it. I
Okay.
think it was one of those things where like you have a like small team fight, you get a couple kills, and people kind of run out of base, and you have like the second half of the team fight, and it's all kind of like stretched out.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was one of those, if I
Okay.
remember right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's just a lot of gold, and you got to keep in mind that if that were to happen to you early in the game, you got to look to reset. I always try and look to reset.
Yeah,
Um.
yeah. This one I got shit on by Diana early, and then I just played it safe and tried to distract people while Trin split pushed, and that
Good build.
worked well enough.
It's a LCS style build. Did you see that in LCS they didn't build any? They didn't build Hourglass at all.
I saw like that one game with Benson. I haven't seen any other
Yeah.
LCS games. I think it was that one though,
Yeah,
right?
he didn't build Hourglass. It was probably because they were playing into Caitlyn, but it's pretty interesting though. He went the Leandries Morellos, which most people originally recommended not to do, but like it feels good having both.
It does. You got a lot of health, which is nice,
Yeah.
and you got a lot of sustained damage, which is nice.
Um, Against Yasu again, same logic. Yeah.
Yeah, this one was much better than the first one,
Okay.
or
Yeah, and
maybe
then
I don't know.
that's just
I,
understanding the matchup. But yeah, so it's basically the same concepts that we talked about before.
yeah,
Let's see. Graves mid.
yeah.
I think you should shit on Grand's mid. Good build. You don't always have to have a sweeper. Just just noting that out there. Um,
Yeah.
mm, Vagar, fucking dumpstered him.
Yeah, this
Yes, I like the boots.
yeah, I was not an idiot with the boots, and I
Uh,
finally like had the
er,
moment of let's just farm and then kill when I can.
Early boots questionable. I get actually. I think the early boots, early merchants here is actually fine because you don't really need that extra damage to kill him because he's already so squishy. And
Yeah.
you get the mobility and MR for with effective counter ganks. But I see the reasoning like boots early isn't always bad. It's just like the you like that's what I was saying how this game is so different. Couple like 20 minutes ago I was saying like short boots second pretty bad, but merch treads that's actually not bad. I've seen a couple people actually first item merch treads.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, here I was
so
basically thinking like Vygar just hit 6, and the only way I'm gonna lose this lane is if I get caught in a like if I fuck up, get caught in a stun and get fucked up by like the Vygar Echo combo. And
yeah.
if I can get out of the way, then like I'm never gonna lose this lane. And that was like my thought there.
Yeah. Um, have you tried unflinching at all? I think unflinching is so underrated.
I think it's super underrated. I haven't tried it on Akali specifically, but I've definitely after they like changed. I think they changed it pretty recently, right? To be like much
Yeah,
better.
like within the past month or something. Yeah. Before it would be you had to cast a summoner spell to get the tenacity reduction, but now it you can just use it. Yeah, just have it base every EDC.
Yeah.
Are you, hello, hello.
Yep. I
Oh,
can hear
okay,
you.
I thought you DC'd or something. Okay. But yeah, so let's look at this.
You can
Galio.
update by the way. There's one more game that I think I played today and won. Uh,
Okay,
but
yeah, we'll try it. Galio, Mertreads, I like. Into a
this guy,
Mumu Galio.
I played way too aggressive into him. This was the one who was like an 85% win rate Smurf on Gallia or something. And I just
Okay.
overtraded him, and he just shit on me, and then went to my roamed, and then shit on
Yeah,
everyone else.
you don't beat him with Ignite Fleet. The only way you kill Galio, in my personal experience, is if you have a lot of items in Conqueror, but like Fleet, it's either Fleet and a lot of items, but I don't think you have enough damage, especially if he's running Aftershock to go Fleet, and kill him in lane. Like I
Yeah,
said, Fleet is really good, but Fleet is more of a I'm going to scale, I'm going to farm, and if I have the opportunity to care like snowball in lane, yeah, that will happen. But most likely, you don't deal as much damage as Conqueror.
yeah,
I think Fleet's perfectly fine here. I don't have any. I like bone plating into him as well, but domination is actually good. I think it really is. It's really like what you feel if you can really get off the taste of blood and abuse the ravenous. If not, if you think you're getting comboed out, bone plating and overgrowth is actually very helpful, as well as maybe even bone plating and unflinching.
yeah. That would have been better because he was also duo with the jungler, and so there were
Mm-hmm.
very few occasions where I could actually step up enough to heal off Galio without just getting ganked.
Yeah, bone plating overgrowth would have been good if you built Merc Treads and have Legion. Legend Tenacity. So yeah, that's just kind of Galio. Galio is very oppressive, and if you misplay and don't get full combo, you'll lose half your HP. But you have to trade with him back.
Yeah,
Um, Yasuo, same concept probably. Yeah.
yeah. This one I think got pretty fed. Yeah, this one got pretty fed. He was pretty good. I mean, he had like 9 CS a minute and was playing fights well.
Yeah. Let's.
I think it's just
So I guess a common theme. Oh, good shit. A common theme is if you get scared of the laner, you build arm guard first, and if you're not comfortable, and you run fleet, you enjoy running fleet. I would say the one thing is, I guess, let me write this down. When to build hourglass is it when to build different boots, and those are two big things I see in your history. Annie.
Yeah,
Okay.
the anime itself was fine, and the
See, see
the team
in yeah into Annie. So I don't think you actually merchant is actually okay here. You could actually get away with short boots, and because Annie's really the only one with the stun, and if she doesn't stun you, then you can make big damage on her team.
Mhm.
I would prefer um either second wind or bone plating with overgrowth or unflinching against her. Because if you have that additional HP, she can't burst you down. If Annie full combos you and doesn't kill you, she's dead. That's one thing. Two is the bone plating really helps against Kha'Zix and Annie. They can't 100 to 0 you because you have bone plating. Um,
Yeah,
and the taste of blood, and you're not going to get too many of those on her without her chunking you down.
yeah.
Against an Echo. What do you think about the Echo matchup?
So I think the Echo matchup is easy, and the Echo Twitch matchup is really hard. Is where I
So
landed
did he
on that.
just level 2 gank you?
I got level 2 ganked. I got level 3 ganked. I got level. I got pretty much every level ganked, I would say, and Twitch kind of got fed, and then I got Pantheon support ganked at every level that Twitch didn't gank, and
Yep. Welcome to
there's a
mid
lot
lane.
of
So
trying to play like a little
yeah,
aggro on Echo, and then everyone
this
shows up.
is yeah, this is where having more control wards really helps. Um, just having control wards, having vision, get your team to help you ward if you need it, right? Like ask them nicely, say, hey, I'm gonna ward top side. Can you please ward bot side? A simple thing like that. Um, if they want to win, they'll listen. If they don't want to win, then I mean, you have no
You're
control.
not.
You're not doing it. You don't have any control. But based off of this, one huge thing I do notice is that your CS is very low. I don't think you're catching waves mid to late game. If not
Yeah,
that, then you're missing CS early on in the game. Uh,
I think it's probably a bit of both. I think it's getting like kind of getting nerdy and missing free CS at the
yeah.
start, and then getting afraid to go out places by myself because I think we're behind in probably 80% of these games. I would
Mm-hmm.
say just looking at the stats,
Yeah.
uh, and like not knowing where to go to catch a wave without like being too far from my team.
Yeah. Um, that just comes with like map awareness and figuring out where to go, where to be. And the problem is since you're running ignite, your macro has to be even better.
Mhm.
Because if you misplay and you're not in a fight, your team will lose it. Uh,
You
I
run
could say, sorry.
Do you run TP mid ever?
I've run TB mid like against like TF. Galio running TB mid against Galio is pretty good too.
Okay.
Yeah, it depends on the matchup, but if you look at a good indicator is I don't know if you heard of UGG.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you look here, like in mid lane, if you look at the pros, there's a lot of a lot of TPs, as well as ignites. And that's just understanding if you win or lose the matchup, or if you need like presence on the map. Like Bjergsen here knows he's not going to beat Annie, so he runs second with overgrowth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he can't one shot. So he doesn't get one shot. As well as he runs TP, so that if he has issues early on in the lane, his macro can be fixed by it, right? And
Mm-hmm.
he can also make plays on the map. But a lot of these players run TP because they know that it's pretty difficult to solo lane your killer as you get higher and higher up in the elo. But I'm fairly confident even with TP you can solo kill your laner. Um,
Yeah.
Basically because Akali is pretty strong and Ignite is helpful if you need that extra damage to snowball. I would run it into Silas is a good example. Talon's fine, but if you're against like harder matchups like TF's not a hard matchup, but you need to match him.
Right.
Vlad, you need to sustain Ori, yeah, like stuff like that. Um, that's good. You're gonna have to experiment with that and how you feel and how your playstyle. And if you think that you'll do better with Ignite or TP, I would say give TP a try. I really like TP, but you're not. I'm gonna tell you right now, you're probably your first 20 games with TP mid. You're not gonna do. You're not gonna have good TPs because
Yeah.
you'll have to understand how to play with TP.
That's
But
interesting. I never realized like that there's that high a proportion of people using TP and Halo. I haven't looked at it. Like I've looked at UGG a bunch, but I like never looked at that specific case
yeah,
really that you
I
just
think you look like. I think what you probably do is you look at this, or you probably look maybe like this, Master Plus, and you see people
yeah, I
use
usually do
Ignite.
like D plus and then I'll look at
Yeah.
like
Um,
like
I
screenshots,
think
but
it's good to note Master Plus, D2 Plus, but like these are the top players. These are the best of the best, and I would look at like Challenger. And this is the most highest win rate with the highest runes, but that's probably most likely because when they run Conquer, they play into Galio, and they play into Yasuo, the Irelia, stuff like that. But if you do notice, a lot of people do run Fleet mid as well as Conquer into certain matchups. Like if you see into Zed,
yeah, there's a lot of great
Irelia,
right
Vlad,
too.
yeah, into Talon, stuff like that. But that's you're gonna have to experiment with that. But Fleet is not a bad option. Fleet is very very good in my opinion. Yeah, so basically, let's go ahead and let's review a game. But the general things I based off of your PGG, I can predict that you're missing CS either mid game or early game.
Yep.
Your itemization can improve a lot. Like when to build boots. I would not recommend short bend boots early.
Yep.
And then probably I would say try resolve and TP. Those are things you should note. I can paste this to you later, but I could probably based off of Juro PGG and talking to you, these are things that I know you can improve on. Like this
Yep.
is already a good start. Start slow, and like improve on like one thing at a time, right? You're not gonna do all of these in one night. You're not gonna wake up the next morning and become fucking god tier, right?
Yeah.
You gotta start slow, practice main number one, number two, like keep note of it, stuff like that. But let's go ahead and let's actually review the game.
And thanks
Um,
for all the back and forth going into detail, by the way. I know it's already been an hour and a half. I really
oh
appreciate it.
yeah, no problem, man, no worries. So you wanted to review the 7-7 game? Oh
I
no, you
think
want to
there's
review 7-2.
the 7-2 one is pretty good.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of like the different themes of like things like every game has its own kind of like profile of
Yeah.
like wrong, I'm trying to think like what's best. But the 7-2 is a good one, I think, for like translating a lead at least. So maybe that's good.
7-2. Yeah, 7-2 probably has a lot of openings on where your CS is pretty high here though. You compare your other game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I wonder. I'm
We
trying
can
to think
play
of
a
if
game.
there's like another decent one that's like less about it, like using a lead and more about getting a lead. But I mean, this one's probably decent. Maybe let's go with this, I guess.
Let's go with this.
Yeah.
I think this is a good one, especially because you were ahead. I think this was one that's good. Another one I would say would be good to look at is probably this one, because
Okay.
I can see that Galio is the one who carried this game, and you were the one who laned against Galio.
Let's do this one actually. I think I'll probably learn more about like how to keep up in this rather than
Yeah.
how to.
So I think there's two things. Would you rather look at a game where you were ahead and could have carried, and what mistakes you made there, or would you rather look at a game where you were more behind, and what is the difference on why you lost lane, what you could have done to win lane and recover? It's really your choice.
Yeah, no, it's a great question, honestly, and I was thinking about that while thinking about like what would be a good game. I, yeah, like what I'm kind of like batting back and forth is like, on one hand, it's like kind of more frustrating to have a lead and not be able to convert it, but on the other hand, it's probably more important, right, to be able to make the lead in the first place and just raise your odds. So maybe we do the Galio one, and then if we're
Okay,
like
okay.
five
How about this?
minutes,
I'm gonna download this Quinn one, and I'm gonna quickly go through this one with you, and then the other one I will go it more in depth.
okay, yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
sounds.
I can quickly point out your mistakes in this game. It's gonna be very quick though, because the second one's gonna be when I like to do viral, it's gonna be like now I don't know if you have time, but like it's probably gonna be like another hour and a half, if that's okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
got. I saw your other YouTube video. It was 3 hours, so
Yeah.
I booked out my week just in case.
Yeah. So let me you see my game, right?
Yep, I can.
Okay, cool. Okay. So first things first, let's speed this up. Let's see where you go. This I can already tell you right now, don't stand in mid lane. You need to go somewhere, and then, yeah. This is, you need to stand here, or stand over here. First things first, right?
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I wasn't
I'm gonna
sure.
write some notes, quick notes for you.
Okay.
Standing mid lane and start that. So, yeah. The reasoning is because, basically, what if someone invades, right? What if Shyvana invaded blue? You want to be able to see that Shyvana invaded blue. And Orin's doing the same thing. He's trolling by doing that.
Do you think it's better to stand like right in the, like? So what I was trying to do was like watch like the invades from like through mid, but
Mm-hmm.
I obviously like Warren wasn't watching the top side, so I guess it would have been better.
He should be. When I play with my friends, I stand here. My mid laner stands here.
Yeah.
My bot lane stands here and here.
Okay. Yeah. So you cover everything.
Yeah, and my jungler just he wards and then he recalls and then but yeah, so I think it's a good call that you were. I think you said you're staying here for blitz. But if you were standing here, you would see them coming down this way anyways, right? So one person can cover 2 points versus two people having to cover both points.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So let's speed this up.
Minions have spawned.
Okay. Let's see where you get some kills. Let's see a dragon. Where were you during dragon? So she snuck a dragon. Do you have a ward? I think your ward's up. So maybe if you had warded, but let's see like kills and stuff. I'm trying to give you better analysis. Okay. You're 0-0-1 against Kassadin. You're up CS. That's really good. I would consider this losing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because Kassadin's the same level as you, and he's just farming. Let's look at team fights. So you're about to fight here. What happened? You roam down, you push up the wave, and you match his roam. Perfect.
Shut down.
Yeah, the problem was a lot happened here before I could get there, and I wanted to try and cut off the Kassadin. So I came here. I tried to get on them through that. I should have gone left.
Left, yep. Going left is the correct play. But let's see. So let's go back even more. So you're here. You have the Kassadin on your tail. And you follow him. So right here, what I would do is I would R to go over him.
Mm-hmm.
That puts you in right here, right?
Yeah.
As well as you proc your passive, so you have that move speed. So now you're here with your second R.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And immediately you're already here with your second R. You hit Shyvana, you R through, and you kill both.
Yeah, that makes sense, because I was basically thinking I'll follow him with the E because he's going to jump this way, and then R to, like, someone closer because he's going to jump, like, you know, where he did, basically.
Okay.
But the passive point makes a lot of sense, like, get the move speed and then R2.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, because in later, mid to late games, you want, your R2 is, I want to say, like, 9,000% better than your R1. Your R1's shit.
Yeah.
And had you done that, let's see. Let's go back. So right here, let's say you are over him, right? You get the pass. You are over him. You get the passive auto. You hit Shyvana. You R through. Or even you get the passive. You auto Q. You R through. That's 2 kills, right?
Yeah.
Then immediately Shyvana's dead. Jhin is dead. And you're with your team killing Kassadin, right?
Yeah.
So then, that could have maybe prevented Thresh's death. Maybe not, maybe. But here, Kassadin lives. Because, let's see if he lives. Okay, so
Yeah,
him, and maybe even Blitz live. No, this Blitz should have last code over.
Blitz, like, dies late. I forget if he gets executed or something. He, like, runs through all
Okay,
these
yeah. So there, your one ultimate could have basically gotten your team 3 kills.
Yeah.
And you would have gotten the Jhin and the Shyvana, put you ahead, as well as your team, whoever gets casted in a Blitz. But because even the one misplay, it's not a misplay, but it's you could have played better. Right?
Yeah.
And looking for openings like that is huge. Like using your R cooldown is fairly low. I don't want to say just spam it and use it whenever you want, right? But know that if there's an opening where the enemy's low like that already, and you can get to a fight, like it'll help you get to a fight and get your R2 open to use. Because your R2 you can hold for quite a bit, right? Even if you don't use it. And it opens up other opportunities for you to make bigger gap closes. Especially because if you had R'd over, Q'd, auto Shyvana, execute Shyvana and Jhin, right? That puts you Thresh and Udyr against Kassadin and Blitz. Then your E's up, right? Because you didn't use it here. If Kassadin and Rift walks away, you had already tagged. You can tag him with your E here. And that's 600 gold he executes himself. Yeah. So that's 600 gold you missed for your team based off of just you not using your ultimate to kind of gap close there.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's like arguably like a game-losing misplay. That's like 1,000 gold swing, saving a kill, getting 3 kills.
Exactly, and that could have been enough for your bot lane to be, for you to be as strong, for Udyr to be as strong, for bot lane to be as strong enough to counter Quinn's strength. As well as getting those 2 kills there also really boosts your team's morale, right? Imagine killing 4 people, 3 people, 4 people, sorry, right?
Yeah.
Like seeing that early on is just huge for your mental and your team's mental, because it's frustrating to see Cassina just walk away with one bar of HP, right?
Yeah.
But what was in your control there was like playing that situation better, and that's coming with no, like what you can learn from this is that know that you can use your ulti to gap close better. Your R2 is your strength. R1's more of a gap closer, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's just that comes with experience, map awareness, and I'm fairly confident you'll be able to pick it up. So here, what happened? Let's see the next fight. Oh yeah, here. So you switch with Lucian and you go bot here. What happened?
Yeah, I pushed out mid and then I left and Lucian caught it.
Okay.
Because I saw 3 of them here. Figured I could get a lot here.
Okay, the RE.
Yeah. I was trying to use both of them. I could have saved the R2 longer. Would have been better.
Double kill.
Yeah, I do notice a lot of people do that. Okay, so RE, that's fine. Did you auto? You gunplayed? Yeah, so I think a huge issue is if you're not, I'm not sure if it's because you weren't, I think your thought process was that you were going to one-shot Jin with the QR.
Yeah, I think he healed right then.
Yeah, so he healed there. You don't really know that he's gonna heal there. You just gotta, if people don't really keep track of summoners at this elo.
Yeah.
But you can most likely, I like to assume, if I don't know if their summoners are up, I assume it's up.
Yeah.
But I think you played this fine. Especially since if he didn't heal, you would have executed him. And yeah, so yeah, this is good. This is a good roam down. Lucian should have stayed mid, but it's fine. So what do you do here? You push this, take this tower?
Yeah.
Perfect. So at this point, if I were to look at this game, you, Udyr, and Lucian are the win condition. How does Quinn get so far ahead is my question. And let's see where she most likely will somehow kill people on your team. Okay, so you kill her upcoming here. Okay, you roam up and you kill her.
Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful. You kill her. What happens to where she kills all of you guys? This fight. This is what I was saying. This is very bad because you're huge. Your team needs you. And how do you get to this spot? Let's see. Let's go.
Yeah, so I see.
Bot?
Yeah, I think, okay, let me push out a wave and then go up if stuff is happening. And then I didn't really see anything happening, so I figured...
So right here, no one pinged Jen.
Yeah, so I like acting there, basically.
Yeah, so these wards are actually pretty awful, in my opinion, and I don't know who placed them, but not having vision here is dangerous, especially since it's easy for them to flank. Because these things cover this basically the same thing, these two wards. Because why here and here when you could just place one like here or something? Or why here when you could place one here and you basically cover this whole thing? instead of wasting 4 wards. But that's more of the support. But I'm just telling you because you can keep in mind that when you're warding, you want to ward in optimal places, right? If there was a ward here, where you can see my cursor, right?
Yeah, that'd be really good.
If there was a ward here and that maybe you placed or something, like maybe a control ward or something like that, that could have prevented your team from actually dying. But you do have a sweeper, which is fine because you're ahead and you're looking for playing some Jhin, but your team gets picked off here. Your team, they should have rotated.
Yeah, I'm like frantically backpicking mid, but honestly, like, relying on that to work is just not a really good idea.
So you're coming up here. How do you play this fight?
Yeah, I just want to land the E because I see Thresh land the hook, and I see Jhin coming in for Shroud. And now I don't think I'm going to get anything out of this, so I back up. But then Thresh goes back in. I think I killed Jhin here too. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Can't remember.
The thing about the RE is you do have to keep in mind that you're going to lose one passive auto. You don't always have to RE. If you notice, I don't always RE. But RE is very good. I'm glad you're using it, and I'm glad you're hitting them. But RE, just keep in mind you don't always have to RE because you'll miss out on a passive hit. And you have to basically gauge the damage. But this game really looks like you guys are winning. I don't know how Quinn. What does she do that?
I think I just play fights poorly, honestly, because I don't think I got a kill after this. I don't know how much longer. I think less.
Okay, this is yeah. Okay, this. Where's the enemy? You have no idea. You only see Caston, right?
Yeah.
This is super greedy to do.
Yeah.
Because what if they're over here? He can just walk up and hook you while you're clearing this ward.
Yeah, and my whole team is top too.
Yeah. So your Lucian's is there, but this is dangerous. This is clearing vision late game by yourself is very dangerous, especially if you're not like 30-0, because you're gonna get you're gonna get flanked. I do the same thing to supports. I kill supports all the time because they're out of position, trying to clear wards. So you see Quinn, and I think you want to fight her here. It seems like you want to fight her. The way you're walking.
Think I didn't want to go in. Yeah, that's why I didn't want to go in by myself, but I got too close.
Okay. You can't. I think a huge misplay here is you can't shroud this. Your shroud doesn't do anything against a hook. Maybe on old Akali, yes, you can blink the shroud, blink the hook, right? What does shrouding do there for you?
I think I shrouded before I saw the blitz. So I think I saw the Quinn, and I think she borked me, and I was like, all right, like, either she's gonna go in and I need to get over the wall, or a bunch of people are. And then you can see the shroud and the hook are like at the same time. So I had no idea the blitz was there.
Okay, let's see. Right, because you're 1,000 gold. Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
He hooks before you shroud. I think you panic shrouded.
Yeah.
But if you know a hook's gonna hit you, you have to flash. And I know it's difficult and it's hard to say. It's way easier said than done. But either one, you shouldn't have been there in the first place, right? You gotta work on that map awareness. Be careful when you're clearing vision by yourself. Where is the enemy? They're gonna set. What I like to also do is I set up bait wards, right? If I know a support's going to clear a ward, like they're clearing vision, I put a bait ward down to make them step up, right? Because imagine he puts the ward here, and you step even further up. He could just hook you all the way over, right?
Yeah, that's a classic.
Yeah, it's a classic bait. You don't have a choice here. You already got hooked, so I figured you just die. You have to flash hooks that will hit you if you're gonna die. And the only way you practice that is just practice your reaction time. Practice, like, if you think a hook's gonna hit you, you have to respect Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank's one of those champions, you can be 0-10 and win a game because you land one hook. And this is a good example of it. Your team's up 2k gold, pretty good, but you're the core guy, right? Look at the gold. 10k, 8k, right? You in bot lane are the carries right now.
Yeah.
If you make a vital mistake like this, being out of position, you cost your team the game. I'm assuming both of you die here.
Yeah, I just get dunked. I don't know if Lucian does. He probably does.
He should die here, yeah.
I think all three of them die, and then the game like ends.
Yep,
Well,
because your team's top, and that's just bad map awareness, right? There's no reason to clear vision here because there's no dragon. Your team actually was making the correct play by being topside because dragon was up. You should have been hovering mid, clearing mid, but here there's nothing here for you. You don't get anything from being here, and I think that's just the issue here was just being aware. Like, look at the gold now.
Yeah, they got 2 shutdowns and threat. I mean, this lost like by itself.
Yeah. And that all started because you're out of position here, right?
Yeah.
Definitely game changing. Flash the hook. Flash a hook that's gonna hit you.
Yeah.
Because look who gets it. Cassidon. You basically just gave him a whole blasting mod. Look at the goal difference now. You were up 2k on him. You were shitting on him. Playing super, super well. But one vital mistake like this late game costs the game. And that's just being more aware. One, aware of where your team is. Two, clearing vision in necessary spots. Clearing vision here did nothing for your team. You just cleared the word, whatever, right? What will you do after that? And I think a lot of people had that issue because they like pink. They use control words in certain spots. They sweep. Like a good example is my brother. He like when he comes mid, he sweeps from like here. He already activates the sweeper and walks here, right? Like what? There's most likely not going to be vision here early game. And later in the game, there would be vision here, right? Like, here and here. So activating a sweeper is here. But, like, if tier 1 is up, you don't need a sweep here, most likely. And stuff like that. It's knowing when to use your sweeper, where to clear vision, and what the vision will do for you. If I clear Baron vision, I can pressure Baron with my team, right? Because they don't know if I'm Baroning. Clearing vision here doesn't do anything. If Dragon was up, beautiful play. But I think that what you can improve on is where do you sweep, especially if you're running sweeper in all these games, right?
Yeah.
And they get Baron off that play.
Yep.
And I think, yeah, that's it. You're not recovering from that. You're down 4k now. Everyone's probably just tilted that they got caught and got Baron at this point. And they kind of just, at this point, you're already 5k gold down on a team that scales. Right?
Yeah, at this point we go to Dragon to try and, like, get Soul. And I get caught, and then Cassidon, I think, just pushes down our whole base.
Okay, let's see what you could have done better here. So Dragon's up, you're moving together. Back a little bit. Okay. Dragon's up, you're clearing vision. So be careful. Like he should have gotten hooked if Blitz was there. So you're flanking around,
Yeah, What I didn't notice the Quinn like slowing down Lucian and Warren.
Yeah,
So
the hook again, getting hooked there.
That was bad.
Yeah, respect the Blitzcrank hook, but at this point in the game, your only recovery is if you guys get the dragon here.
Yeah.
It's so laggy. What the heck?
I think when you speed up and slow down, it just like for some reason destroys the replay.
Yeah. So here, you have vision of Blitz. You see Blitz because we're doing blue side vision. Respect the hook. E away. E away. Flash away. Respect the hook. That's one big thing is respecting Blitzcrank's hook. Because here, you lost Dragon, whatever, right? But imagine you don't get hooked here and you kill Jin. Shyvana's full AP. You easily kill all three of these guys,
Yeah.
right? But because you get hooked here, same situation here. If you probably didn't get hooked here earlier, you would have probably won the fight. But here, you're up, you kill these guys, your team resets, you stop casting, and you hold the game up longer, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But even like this is good though, right? You know you're playing well, but if you had not made this mistake here, you win the game.
Yeah.
And that yeah, so the reason why you lost that was because out of position and not clearing vision in the correct spot. But I think the Galio game is probably going to be a pretty good indicator of similar things. So
Yeah.
let's see. Okay. So I guess to cover kind of what we just went over, what do you think you could have done better?
In that last game?
Yeah, like what are like our takeaways? What are our learnings from that last game?
Yeah, so I think takeaway one, and this isn't not in order of importance, but just time order. I think takeaway one is map out the team fight a little better, right? So think like if in that first team fight where I like didn't R right? If I just thought, okay, how am I going to play this whole team fight, right? Like there's 3 moves I can make, really, right? That's going to get me a free double kill, and then after that, like whatever, right? Maybe we chase someone down, maybe we don't. Doesn't really matter. Whereas my thing was like, okay, I'm going to either cast it in, he's going to jump in, I'm going to follow him, and then I'm going to do something, but I don't know what. And then, there are 2 choices. I made the wrong one, and it made a huge difference, right? So that's like one.
Yeah.
And then I think 2 is just, I think it's the positioning thing and the vision thing, but it's also just like where my team is, right? Like if 3 of my team is top and Dragon is not up and they're pushing top tower and I can only see Kassadin and I know he's near their blue, there's like no reason in the world for me to just be like hanging out like halfway between mid and bottom, right? There's absolutely no.
Let me interrupt. You remember how your team got flanked in that mid play?
Yeah.
You made a very, very similar mistake to that if you like compare the 2.
Yeah.
It's because you saw one guy on that right side. They saw Jin on that right side, right?
Yeah.
Similar flank. How is that countered? 1, wards. 2, don't be there in the first place. Especially if it's a like mid to late game like that. They have a Quinn, they have a Kassadin, they have a Blitzcrank. Easily pick you up. If they had a Kled, immediately would have ulted on top of you.
Yeah.
And regarding back to like the comboing, planning out scenarios, mapping out, I would say it's not more of mapping out, but it's more of reacting to the situation. This game is so, like I said, it's so like different. Things are constantly changing. There's so much change happening, so much variety. The thing I think you can improve on there is like, how will I handle things if I run into this scenario, right? Will I react?
Yeah.
You don't know, because what if Kassadin just never showed how would you have played that better, right? What if Kassadin pushed mid instead or something, but you roamed down? How would you have played that better? What if X, what will I do here? If Y happens, what will I do here? And that happens with the kind of the experience, and now you know, right? Now you know if you are faced with a similar situation, you know, I'm gonna try to get my R2 on CD. I mean, not my R2 on CD, my R1 on CD, so I have my R2 available to use sooner, right?
Yeah.
And positioning to where I'm not gonna chase one guy. It's okay, that you eat in on the Kassadin there, but what can you do better afterwards? You've already made the mistake. You eat onto him, right?
Yeah.
Instead of chasing the Shyvana, you killed the 2, right?
Yeah.
Instead of 300, you get 600. And even better, is if you had R, you get the 900 instead of the 300, right?
Yeah.
And that's just, if something bad happens, how can you fix it? How can you recover? What is the best case? Like, what do I need to do to make the best out of this situation?
Yeah.
Bad things happen all the time. It's okay. Mistakes happen. How can you recover? Right? That dragon fight. That mid fight. You got caught. Whatever. It happens. They took Baron. It happens. People get caught. But the dragon fight, right? Playing that could have been a recovery for your team. That could have been
Yeah.
killing everyone, resetting, stopping Cashin, holding mid wave.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's back to the comboing. But to like the positioning and like vision and team awareness, you're by yourself, your team's all top. Most of the time, if your team's grouped together, you want to play with the team, right? League's a team game. Late game is a team game. You're not running TP, so you can't split anyways, right?
Yeah.
Putting yourself out of position is very, very bad because 1, you can get picked, but 2, imagine they didn't go on you, but it was just Kassadin, and they swarm your team top lane. You're the carry, right? You have all the gold.
Yeah.
If you're not there for the fight, your team gets punished for it. Like, you saw how ahead you were compared to Kassadin. Imagine if you were there for like if a fight broke out top lane, stuff like that. Like, those are the things you have to keep in mind when running Ignite. But yeah, is there? Sorry to interrupt your train and thought process, but like, what are some other takeaways that you kind of got from there?
No, not at all. That's super helpful. That's the big one. I think that there's like the one minor one about like tracking Jin's deal in that one fight, but honestly, in that one, I didn't really care because I thought that even if he had both sums up, I'd still kill both of them.
Yeah. That's perfectly fine because you had your summoners, you had all your gap closers. Timing summoners is huge because of like things like flash late game. Like, I played a game yesterday where I was jungling, and the only reason why we won was because we kept timing Kog'Maw's flash, and we would jump on him immediately when his flash was down. Stuff like that. There's easier windows for you to kill someone when their summoners are down. It's kind of like the key takeaway from that. It wasn't more of tracking Jhin specifically, but the learning from that is understanding who has what summoners, right? If you know Kassadin doesn't have flash, he's missing one whole gap closer. You may be able to outplay him once he uses Rift Walk a couple times, right?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. If you know someone's missing summoners, you have the advantage on them. If you have Ignite over someone, right? That's a huge thing as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty consistent at playing summoners, but I'm definitely not consistent enough at like looking back and actually like using that information.
Yeah, you can say some guy flashed, okay, but what are you gonna do in the next 5 minutes? Relates to the concept of the vision. You can clear the vision, but what will you do with it?
Right. Yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah. But I would say like you saw that you played well, right? Just that 1-2 mistakes getting hooked cost you the game. And I'm
Yeah,
not saying I'm not saying that your teammates didn't do X or Y because my main focus is you here.
yeah,
My main focus is what you could have done better and what you could have done to carry. Because imagine if Cassidy didn't get that 1K, even you would be ahead of him still in gold here, considering how far ahead they were, right? Because look, take 1K off of them. And things like that, having a huge spree, you gotta be careful. Be careful. And if you get killed, you give big gold to the enemy team. But let's review this. Okay. Looking at this game, your CS is low. That's one thing. Two is that you said that Galio was roaming and making plays on the map,
yeah,
but your CS is almost the same as his. That's
Yeah.
another concern I have. So
yeah. There was a lot of like, him getting ahead early, just like taking much better trades than me, and then at that point he could just roam and not even worry about farming because he was just killing everyone, and I'm like
yeah,
trying to catch up and not following the roam because I got behind.
yeah. So first things first, same thing. You're sitting in mid lane. You gotta stand here or here. What if your jungler gets invaded, loses his blue? What if they walk around and kill Soraka? Team's already tilted, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can prevent that. Sitting at mid tower, if you're going to get your fucking food or go and take a piss, do it before the game. Like me, you see me,
I think I'm right at this point.
you ran to go take a piss?
I think so.
Yeah, so
Not a good idea.
yeah, do it before you're loading in. Don't take a piss don't run and take a piss while you're because that could make or break whether you win the game or not. That 300 gold could snowball, right? Because look at the vision. Your team has absolutely no idea. Imagine if they walk this way. Double kill your bot lane. Soraka's not escaping. Maybe Ezreal will. Right? That's huge.
Yeah.
That is gigantic. And you alone can prevent that. Just by standing there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you're in lane. Walk in, back and forth.
I don't really know what I was trying to do walking back and forth in the race, to be honest. Here I'm just trying to cover the mid
Yeah.
and mid.
Okay, so how do you play this matchup? What do you think of Galio? Difficult?
I think it's a matchup that I think you can win, but only if you play it really well, is maybe the way I would put it. I think it's really easy to fuck up,
Yeah.
and the safest bet is to probably try and farm up and maybe poke him after he's used Q if you have vision of the jungler.
Okay.
But that's about it.
So, in my opinion, this like what you're saying, you're describing a skill matchup. Is if you play it well, you win. That's what skill matchups are. In my opinion, Galio has the upper hand because he's very good against like AP champions.
Right.
He's very tanky, so it's hard for AP assassins to do anything to him.
Yeah.
And by your logic, if you were looking to farm and make plays around the map, you would have TP, not Ignite, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Ignite is definitely.
We have not even started the game, and you already know exactly what you want to do. Take advantage of that. Run TP. Give TP a try. If you're not gonna stomp with Ignite, run TP.
Yeah.
If Ignite's not gonna give you an upper hand, don't run it. That's one thing to keep in mind.
Yeah, like I'm basically my plan is basically I'm not gonna kill him unless he really fucks up, and I'm not banking on that. I'm just trying to like burn his TP and prevent the roam as long as I can, basically.
Yeah, so imagine you had TP, you could match him, right?
Yeah, be way better.
So let's see. So you kill? I like that, immediately. You pop his bone plating. You trading with them? Beautiful. Great. Alrighty. Yeah.
First key's down, so I'm going back.
Yeah, you're literally you're shitting on this guy.
Dodge that. I'm trying to go in, but there's a lot of minions, so I don't go for the auto. I think I missed the Q also, just barely.
Yeah, it's okay, I missed Qs too. So, here, you do know that he's going to hit 2 before you, right? Do you?
Yeah, he's pushed me in, yeah.
Yeah, so he's gonna hit 2 before you. Respect it. You back off here, which is good. If this dies, he will hit 2 and E on you. If this dies, you hit 2 and you'll get E.
You went W, which was a little...
Do you level up your skills with hotkeys?
Yeah, I usually do.
Okay.
Yeah. I was a little slow here, I think. Yeah, so I level Shroud there, because I want to get a double Q trade-off on him.
Yeah, so I think E would have actually been the better play there.
Okay.
You don't... Your E is very good against Gallo, because if he E's at you, you just keep E away. So here, you canceled your auto. You saw that you canceled your auto, right?
Yeah, I did.
It's fine to cancel autos, it happens, but try to, like, minimize the amount of autos you cancel. So you hit 2 here. Immediately, you can assume that he'll go on you because you're both 2, right?
Yeah.
If the way you could have played is better, you quickly level up your E and you E away. You don't get taunted, he doesn't get his aftershock, and he misses his taunt, right?
Yeah.
That's one thing. These are like key laning things that you'll have to basically, it comes with practice and like game knowledge. But I'm just pointing it out for you.
Yeah.
So there, yeah, you make a trade with them. You know his aftershock's down. You make a trade. You trade with them. You hit the CS. Now you back off, right?
Yeah.
It's fine. You started W. You did W. E, you would have actually, I think, done more damage to them. But because you wouldn't have been taunted and you wouldn't have gotten aftershock damage,
Yeah.
as well as auto damage, because you would have E'd out of it, right?
Yeah, I don't think enough about the aftershock for sure.
Yeah. So here, yeah, now you're sustaining back in lane. You popped your potion. It's fine. You have D-shield, you have fleet, you're healing back in lane. So, at this point, Kha'Zix has cleared his whole bot side.
Yep.
Now, you're against an Amumu, and Amumu needs level 3 to gank most of the time, otherwise he's trolling. So Kha'Zix actually clears faster, so most likely, where do you think Amumu is?
So I think bot lane was late to lane, so I think Amumu has probably, assuming he went red Raptors and Kha'Zix did a 3 camp, I think Amumu's probably partway or just finishing his wolves, I guess.
Okay, yeah. So Amumu has 2 options. He can full clear by doing red, Krugs, and then Raptors, or he can do red, Raptors, and then like blue, or red, wolves, and then blue. Because you need 3 camps to get level 3, right?
Where is he actually?
Where is he actually? Did you ask where he is actually?
Yeah, but sorry, go ahead. Yeah, I was just gonna say like at some point.
Yeah. So your guess is that he's at Wolves, right?
Yeah, that's my guess.
Yeah, this jungle camp we should ignore, but yeah, I think you're right in the sense that because he cleared, but I would have assumed that he would be on his Wolves as well because he would be clearing either Raptors or Wolves because I would do a full clear as a Mumu, but let's see where he actually is. So you're pretty accurate, right, on what you said. you said that he did red, raptors, and then wolves. So he's on his blue. Pretty even with Kha'Zix and clear times. Kha'Zix, basically a lot of it is basing off where your jungler is and knowing where the enemy jungler is. So Amumu's clearing here. He's level 2. So he's not actually going to, he's not going to be able to gank you yet. So here is actually not it's not actually a bad time to ward, getting a ward out. Because Amumu it will either clear his Gromp or he'll path to you, right? He has 2 options. Clear the Gromp or start pathing to gank you.
Yeah.
Either you or top lane. And Galio is very good to gank for because he can lock you down. So you're playing very heavily towards top side because your jungler's top side, and you're hugging this. You gotta get a ward out because what if Amumu starts coming here? You want to have that early vision, right? You don't want to get caught out if you don't want to be warding while he's pathing there because they'll kill you.
Yeah.
You want to have that ward ahead of time. What do you think you did wrong here?
I did 2 things wrong. I think one, I'm playing way too far forward in the lane because I'm trying to stay away from his Q range or like the curving parts of his Q, but I'm like overdoing it, and he's ahead on health, so he can cut me off in this little corridor, right, where he can really like short range hit me. I think 2 is that I shouldn't have shrouded because he's gonna knock me up and top me, and the shroud isn't gonna do anything. I should have feed immediately.
Perfect. Exactly. That's exactly what you should have. If you had Eat there, you actually could have walked out of his taunt, by the way. Let's replay
Yeah, I thought I was but like
Yeah.
wrong.
So let's replay that. You're at the level 2. You're about to hit level 3. You're sustaining off of fleet. You have taste of blood. You gotta hit you gotta get that healing, right? So you're hitting level 3. You have your E, right?
Yeah.
Look how much time you have to E. Right? It's 2:43 right now. You have almost a second to react.
Yeah.
Right? You know he'll E at you. So if you E here, right? Doesn't matter. You hit the minion. You hit him. It doesn't matter. But the main important thing is you don't, 1, waste Shroud, and 2, he doesn't get damage on you and pop his aftershock. Here, you're running out of his taunt, but I believe if you kept running, you would have been out of it. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
He has bone plating, so you're trading into his bone plating right now.
Yeah, I take this because all his CDs
Take
are down.
this?
There's a lot of minions too,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
So now you're going to be taking a lot of minion damage. You're taking all of these minions, right?
Yeah.
You're trading into his minion waves. Very, very bad early game because minions do a lot of damage. Fine. You have to flash here.
I think I die right after.
I think you die if he flash autos you with his passive. So yeah, so what do you do here? You're not running TP. You just flashed. What do you do here? You have to leave. You can't stay. Your Taste of Blood's on CD. One of his flash Qs kills you.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think about the flash at all. I'm basically thinking like he's pushing into me with his passive auto, so I'm gonna grab the cannon. Kha'Zix is also here.
Okay. Yeah,
But
and remember what I said about Mumu level 3 ganking after his blue? That's exactly what he did.
Yeah.
Now imagine a Mumu comes and ganks mid, right? Here. Ooh. You guys would have probably lost the 2v2, but the Kha'Zix is here. That's really good, right? So that makes you stay, right? So what can you do better here? You don't have your CDs, so why do you step up for the siege minion?
Yeah, I step up for the siege. I think what I should have done I mean, most of it is just like the terrible trade, right? But I think what I should have done is just stayed in XP range of that, or tried to pull up so that Kha'Zix was closer.
Yeah. So you know he has flash on you. He knows
Yeah.
you don't have flash.
Yeah.
So you need to respect it. Concede
Yeah.
the siege minion. Either reset or wait for the gank and then reset with pushing with Kha'Zix. That's one huge thing. So now you give Galio a 300 gold lead because he kills you, right? Because you were greeting for the siege minion. It's okay, like I always say, it's okay to miss some CS. It's okay to concede some weight. Your goal is to survive and get some items because you're running fleet, right?
Yeah.
If he's not ahead, you win with fleet. Please kill him.
He dies like 30 seconds later. Kha'Zix's jump comes back, I think. Something like that, eventually. There we
Okay,
go.
you get an assist. You run back to lane. How much gold did you have? Let's see. You have 350 gold.
I think I buy boots in a pot here, I want to say.
So why do you buy boots and a potion?
Oh no, I didn't. What did I actually buy? Oh no, I did.
You did. Oh, okay. No, you actually refund and you buy Amtome. Okay. So, there...
I bought boots in a pot, and then I got the assist right before I respawned. And
Okay.
so then went.
I think Longsword would have been better there for trading in lane instead of boots. Boots don't really help you with trading, especially since you're running fleet. Amtone's fine there. And I think Amtone's perfectly fine, especially with the potion.
By the time I got.
The wave is really good for you. You should have an advantage now because you have the wave, but you're down a little bit of gold. You'll just be up on XP.
Yeah.
And you understand why you'll be up on XP and down on gold.
Yeah, I mean he lost a good amount there while he was running.
Yeah, and then he got the kill on you, so
Yeah.
you keep that in mind. Yeah, you
that's
see that CS? Yeah. Gotta work on that CS thing.
Yeah.
Taking too many minions, taking way too many minions. There's absolutely no reason to tank that because your wave's already here, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Look how much HP you already lost. You just came back to lane and you have a sixth of your HP gone. That's huge. That could make or break whether you live another fight. Look at that.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's really bad.
Be aware of the minions. Have map awareness. You have fleet to heal up. That's fine. You have taste of blood. Heal up. His bone plate is about to fall off. Trade into him. Yeah, he uses his taunt. So what do you do here? That he uses his taunt.
I mean, I wanted to trade, but there's way too many minions, honestly. So I just wanted to take it out so it didn't crash like too hard.
So you need to, I think of something you can improve on. Practice E and Galio's E.
Yeah.
Definitely. I don't think so far I have not seen you E his E once yet. That's one thing.
Yeah.
If you can, like, same thing with Camille's hook shot is another example. Camille, Galio's E. Yasuo, when he runs up to you, you can E. When he's like dashing at you through minions with E, you can E away as well. Practice these things with like Eing away. It can save you a lot of damage and prevent. Yeah, so you're trading into his aftershock right now. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. Your jungler's on the side. The Moo is there.
Walks into this, and I think I would have lost too much trying to help by the time I got there.
Yeah. So how could you have prevented this?
So, I think one big thing, just thinking wave-wise, right, is getting it out earlier while Kha'Zix and Galio were like near Galio's tower, so that I wasn't like stuck in this position, because it's like 419, right? I know Mumu getting top. I know Scuttle has come up, and he should be, especially I know he's pre-made, right? Their names are the same. So I know Mumu should be working his way down, and I can't afford to like get stuck on a wave right now.
Correct. So in this scenario, I personally think you were put into this scenario because you didn't ward. Remember what I was saying, right?
Yeah.
you have so many opportunities to just get a ward out, either ward here or here.
Yeah.
And had you warded that, that would have been completely preventable, right?
Yeah.
Then you catch the CS, and we're fine because Kha'Zix sees a Mumu there, you see a Mumu there. Kha'Zix can make a play somewhere else on the map, right?
Yeah.
But instead he has to fight here, and then he has to jump out. So a Mumu commits to this. Do you think you could have won the 2v2?
No, I don't really think so. Honestly, I think the Galio AOC in the small space there is just too much to deal with.
Correct.
And
Mumu and Galio are tanky and have cleave in your shrouds on the CD. So
Yeah.
going for the minions there was the correct play. But had you warded, you still haven't put a single ward down, by the way, and you have 2 trinkets.
Yeah.
Had you put a ward there, completely preventable, right?
Yeah, and it's a good point on like using the ward to inform other people, because I basically like, for me, a lot of it is just like, if I'm sitting in my tower and don't think I need to ward for myself, I don't. But at the end of the day, like, it's not just about me, right?
Yeah. You're E again. E and Galio Z.
Yeah, I'm getting
Or
like
dodging.
distracted by minions and
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah.
not
Understandable. But you E after and then you trade with them. So like the huge thing is like you're losing chunks of your HP because you're not Eing his E. You know how to E. I don't think I've seen you miss an E that you were trying to land. Based off of this in the other game, right? I didn't see you miss it. You hit your skill shots, use it at the right time, and you'll notice a difference. So now you ward, right? Because your lane's pushed up and whatever, blah blah blah. When you should have warded
a minute and a half ago, like that.
like here, your Kha'Zix is here. His run to move. Even if you warded like now, good opportunity. Like here when the minions, you're taking so much minion damage, let these crash to your minions and put a ward down.
Yeah.
Right? You have two charges. You gotta use them. So let's speed up past this. Yeah, like eating is huge. That's one immediate thing. Yeah, like the thing is, something like that, you can improve on that in like by knowledge, that can be something that can be fixed immediately.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So here I see him backing, so I'm trying to push out, and then I think I'm backing.
Yeah, he TP's back here. Respect the TP.
I didn't think he would do that much damage in that combo, but he just went a lot after the kill.
So when someone TP's in, you do know they have movement speed after they TP, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So concede those minions, respect it, and reset.
Yeah.
Especially since you don't have TP either. So do you die here?
I don't think so. No. He misplayed. I think. I think
you're lucky that you didn't die there. So he's gonna stop your back here. Yeah. So step further back and reset further, so you didn't have to cancel. Yeah. Your lane's gonna slow push. He doesn't have any understanding of wave management, so he's gonna actually just shove this into you. So imagine you had TP, you could TP back to lane and lose no CS, right? So at this point, you're already 700 go behind. You're falling even more and more behind.
Yeah.
And that was all because of what? 1, greeting for the siege minion.
Yeah.
2, not warding. Right?
Yeah. 3, just tanking all of these.
And tanking minions as well, right? So now, you have to come back to lane. You have to miss all these minions. Come back to lane, okay. You push out the wave, Galio's bot, you're shoving.
Yeah.
Do you push or do you roam?
What do you do? I think they're fucked, honestly. So I think
So they're diving. This is a good play. This is a good play. You're roaming properly. But how do you play this? So you know
I think
it's 43 right now.
Yeah, because Soraka's left, Ezreal's out.
Yeah.
Kha'Zix is not going to get anything done here against those two. And they back out, so I just...
Yeah. So they back out, and now your wave, his wave actually slow pushes to you, but what do you do here?
I think I just go back around the safe way, because I know they're going to try and pincer me there.
Yeah. This is perfect. Okay, you blast gun over. Okay, perfect. I was gonna say blast gun. Okay, so he shoves the wave back into you. That was fine. That execution was fine. You made them back off from the dive, right?
Yeah.
Because you were roaming down. Perfect. That's the correct play. Here you're trading. He uses his W. Right? W is down.
Yeah.
So why do you queue the wave there instead of him?
Go back one more time. Where did I queue? I missed it.
Right here.
So I do this so I can get the minion. And
No, not here. Right here. Because
I
you
didn't
want
want
the
to...
minions?
Yeah, there were two creeps I was going to lose because they were both getting low, I think, at the same time. Or one of them was about to die, and I wasn't close enough to auto it. Yeah, because I dodged the wrong direction. I should have dodged
Yeah, okay.
up.
So you walk up. So we're here. I guess queuing the minion if you're farming is fine. But you do know that his W and Q are on CD, so you should also be looking to trade, right? You
Yeah,
should
when
look for opening windows to trade. I think
Yeah.
it's fine that you keep the minions there, but just keep in mind trade. He uses so now you know his W is either down, so he queued, he doesn't have his Q. I think an issue you have is that you're not taking advantage of the fact that when he uses his CDs, you don't do anything. Like here, you should be trading with him, especially since he's down.
You just keep giving him big minion waves, and so like every time I feel like his stuff is down, like there's so many minions that I don't know. You can ignore that Q. That was a clicks thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just keep like I'm trying to hold the wave by my tower, like so that I'm safe from the gank. At the same time, like I can't trade back on him a lot of the time. I feel like at least.
The thing is, you gotta remember you're running fleet and domination pace of blood, so you out-sustain him in lane. You just need to be making proper trades. Like there, when he eaves into you like that and misses, you should immediately punish him.
Yeah, I should have.
You're waiting for his cooldowns to be back up before you start trading with them. Yeah, he taunts you there, whatever. But there, so the misplay here is that you don't wait his bone plating out. Right? So whatever, he does this, right? You have your E up, If you see him taunt, you should E. If you see him eat, you could have eat out of that. Right? Because he channels for a little bit.
Yeah.
You E, right? You wait out the aftershock. You wait out the bone plating. But instead you E back in, right? With his bone plating up.
How long is his bone plating up for? Does it say? Or is there like a buff?
Yeah, they have a buff on them. But you just look at the champion. When the green things fall off, you engage.
Okay.
Yeah. So like here, you'll see him have a buff when you hit him. I'll pause it for you.
Oh yeah, there it is. Okay.
You see the buff? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you wait, you actually E, whatever, you use one. But here, you hit both of his bone plating.
Yeah. Because I think if I'd waited out the bone plating,
You'll
or
deal
like,
more damage.
yeah, I feel like I could have all in them.
Let's see if you hit these minions. Oh, I don't think you... Do you? Okay, let's see. It keeps changing windows, sorry. I don't know what's wrong. But that key was questionable too. So you hit the siege minion. You should immediately auto this minion, because you know. And then you'll auto this minion next. You'll auto this one right here. You auto this, and then yeah. Then you auto, okay, so So you
I don't know why I ran away there.
Yeah, so small minions like that add up. So, autoing. You're autoing. So you're pushing out here. What is your reasoning for pushing out here?
Yeah, so I see my wave is pretty far. I know he is going to come back with items and health. I don't really think there's anything on the map to fight for. Like, I don't think Dragon is up. I don't think there's any, like, roams happening. So I think if I can push this out quickly, then I can get it in a tower before his wave shows up. Like, his mine's all the way back at inhibitor, and I can just reset, get a little health, and spend a little.
Do you know he's roaming? Do you know he's backing?
I think he was roaming, or backing. I think if you go back, I think his mana was low, which is why I did this. I think. I can't 100% remember off my head.
Correct. He's out of mana, right? So you were assuming he's backing,
Yeah.
right? Like quarter man, like fifth and 10th of mana actually. So you decide to shove out, right?
Yeah.
How do you clear these minions? Let's see. Okay. What the fuck, dude? Okay, yeah.
That one just kind of.
Yeah, that just went to the tower. You could have queued it, but it's fine. So what if Amumu and Galio were sitting right here?
Then I would probably be fucked, and then Kha'Zix would jump in, and then we'd both die. That's my guess.
Yeah. And what could prevent that?
Well, the first easy one is wards. I think the second one is having more of a sense. I mean, just like even thinking about it in the first place, honestly.
Yeah,
like,
so your only thinking was that he reset, right?
Yeah.
And they could easily lock you down if they wanted to. I think you're fine to hug this side. Use your ward.
Yeah.
You gotta use your ward. You could change. You could have already saved Kha'Zix from getting killed.
I think I maybe ward right here, but it's probably late. Yeah, I got a pixel because I shut down at this point. Or maybe I'm. Oh no, I'm looking.
You actually hit slow pushes and you miss all the CS. This is actually not a terrible roam, but Galio can match. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you're gonna miss a lot of CS. Just know that.
Yeah.
With that roam. That's one. The tower, the wave wasn't fully crashed into the tower. Two,
Yeah.
Look how much gold you're holding. That's 2 longswords. Or an Aptoman longsword. Or even revolver. Right?
Yeah. Looking back on it, honestly, I thought I'd reset there because that's what I should have done. Like, this round was not a good idea.
Exactly. So even you knew you thought you were going to reset there, right?
Yeah.
Which is good because that is the correct play. So if you ever go into that scenario again, you're gonna know to reset, right?
Yeah. I also should have warded Pixel on the way up, I think. I was already going by there.
Yeah. Yeah. So you didn't even use a ward either. And you had a bad combo. Which is fine. That comes with practice. But the macro misplay there is this wave's going to come into you and you're going to miss waves. And because now you're going to be even more behind because you have to reset and then come back, right?
Yeah.
2, you're going to be missing all of you're going to be missing CS and you don't have your CDs. So now what do you do? You roam back down, you ward here for him, but look at this.
I get killed
Galio
here.
is probably here waiting for you or some shit. Let's see.
They use like 3 flashes or something and just murder.
Yeah, exactly. See, I didn't have any vision, but I assumed Galio was there.
Yeah.
And my reasoning is because he already saw you fighting Jace, and you used all your CDs, and you're forced to run back to mid lane because of the wave, right?
And he pushed in, so he's like,
Yeah, exactly. So you lose CS because of that play. So immediately when you saw him flash, you need a flash.
Yeah.
Right?
I think if I had shrouded better for enough move speed to be, because he just got me with ult, but I also just like shrouded in like the wrong place and got like 0 move speed, which was also pretty bad. Yeah, I should have flashed as soon as.
Your shroud, it gives you decaying move speed. It doesn't give you move speed based off of you being in it anymore.
Oh really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's like decaying move speed. Yeah.
Oh, you're still in it? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's good.
So yeah, they nerfed that. It was way too broken.
Okay.
It just gives you decaying move speed. You see, Akali gains decaying move speed. Yeah. So you had to flash, and this goes back to similar things. I'm assuming this is probably a common theme for you, is that you don't flash when you should be flashing. And same thing back to the Blitzcrank, right? Back to the Blitzcrank, flashing the hooks. And this costs you a lot more because you give them kills. Wow.
So we get 2 out of this. I try and lead them through this room and like queue them and whatever just to get something done, but I think Galio flash taunted me at tower 2.
Yeah. So how did this happen?
There's so many reasons, right? It's like, one is like, you know, I should have reset and that would have stopped all of this. 2 is if I hadn't fucked up the combo, I would have killed Jace and it would have been a 3v2, right? 3, if I had warded Pixel, I would have known Galio was there and I would have run up instead of this way to get more distance, or flash the Amumu ult, or eat the ult and then shroud. Right. There's like all different ways.
Look how many things that you could have done better, right?
Yeah.
Now, it's fine like that this happened, but take it as a learning experience, right? Like you said, 1, missing your combo, right? Jace would have died if you landed everything.
Yeah.
2, warding here. You didn't ward, so you didn't know he was coming up. I assumed he was coming up because I understand how the waves work and I have more experience. But if you don't have that wave experience, having that vision will give you an indicator, right? Your teammates will ping back. 3, respect the range, flash, right?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And then just because of that, now you guys just traded 3 for 2. Top wave shoving in, team build gets denied, your wave, you miss CS, and now your wave slow pushes in, and it's huge for Galio. Look at this.
Yeah, it was that whole wave.
Yep.
I think.
You won't lose the whole thing, but you lose a majority of it, because he'll shove it out, and then, yeah. Yeah, so you lost like maybe like 4 or 5 CS?
Yeah.
So now here, he gets a plate too. Boom. Now this guy has a 500 gold spree 9 minutes into the game. And he's almost double your gold. At this point, you're laning against him. You're doomed. The only thing you can do is hope for a misplay on his part. So you E properly. But imagine if you hit him. But you know what I mean. The concept of you Eing his ability is perfect.
Yeah, I didn't want to. I aimed sideways there too because I didn't want to fuck up that last CS.
Yeah.
Also.
Because imagine if you eat him, right? Let's say you were even. You eat him, right? Yeah. Like I'm thinking theoretically. You eat him. You hit him with the E. He blows his taunt and aftershock. Takes a tower shot. After that wears off, you E back in and you kill him, or you make a trade. You win the trade if you were even.
Yeah.
And things like that. So, but like at this point in the game, he can just do whatever the fuck he wants because he has red buff. Because of this play, and because you're already behind, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, you just didn't have cooldowns, and you stepped up on him. Respect Galio. If you don't have CDs, step back. Pantheon didn't have to be there, you would have still died.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now you lose more CS, right? And at this point, I'm assuming you're probably tilted out of your mind. Anyone would be tilted, right? I would be tilted, right? Because what do
Yeah.
you do? It's a fucking guy building HP items one-shotting you. Like, that's not balanced at all. And at this point, it's pretty much doomed, in my opinion. And the rest of the video is probably him just dicking your team.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if I like come back at all.
Yeah,
I think
we'll still replay this. So the question is, how do you recover from this? What do you think needs to be done to recover from this if he's ahead of you like this?
So, I think, right, like item 1, like broad theme 1 is from now on, I want to spend as little time in lane as possible, but pick up as much farm as I can, right? Which I think is basically, because I think he's going to try and roam, right?
Mhm.
He's got his, right, and now he wants to win the game with it, instead of just shitting on me over and over. And if not,
Correct.
I'm going to do more. So I need to thin it out as much as I can so I can follow him as quickly as possible, or at least try and make him lose a little farm. And then otherwise, like, basically, I think it's follow a roam, wait for someone to fuck up, and then take advantage is my like only hope.
Yeah. So the issue with roaming against Galio is he'll always match you.
Yeah.
In a different scenario, a different champion, that could be possible, and you could make a play, a 3v2 play maybe in bot lane or something, or a 2v1 play top lane. But this is Galio we're talking about. So the one thing you said is correct. You don't want to fight him, and you want to catch as many waves as you can, right?
Yeah.
Which is correct. So you want to continue to keep farming and hope that he makes a mistake. Hit whatever CS you can, because I do see that you do miss some CS here. I miss too, dude. I miss cannons all the damn time. So Galio's dead. Assuming you time this TP, you would know that it's down.
Yep.
So you shove out, right?
Yep.
Perfect. No. What did I press? Oh, I hit pause. Oops. Okay. So you have 500 gold. What do you do? Where do you live?
So I think
You ward
Oh,
here.
yeah.
That's a good ward. You help your jungler,
I just want to make sure he's safe
and
here.
then do you go bot here? Yes, perfect.
Yeah.
Galio doesn't have anything. He's not gonna be able to respond to this early, so you should be able to make a play here.
I think this goes badly because the Amumu is also bad.
Bad shroud.
I also play this terribly, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Watch that.
Galio will pass either this ward or this ward. You know he doesn't have ulti, right?
Yeah.
So, what is your thought process here on shrouding early?
So what I'm worried about is that Amumu, and basically what I'm worried about is that Amumu will Q me, because the Ezreal like could move right behind a minion, and then by the time that's over, Pantheon is just about in stun range, I think, / Caitlyn trap. So I'm trying to basically avoid as much targeted damage as possible, assuming that's going to happen. Really, I think what I should have done is come down like the other wall more. So try to like zone off Caitlyn and Pantheon a little bit, and let Ezreal and Kha'Zix hit Amumu a little, because Amumu I think is pretty strong at this point, or at least he felt like he was pretty strong. I don't remember exactly. But I think the better thing would have been to like let the cooldowns happen and then Shroud to safely take out Caitlyn and get on Pantheon.
Okay. Walking around the wall is the incorrect play. Because they can turn on you.
Not like all the way down, but I mean like just more like towards towards Pantheon instead of towards.
Okay. So they could turn on you and kill you because you put yourself in position. This is walking. You walk the correct way. This is correct.
Okay.
The incorrect play is that you assume that you shroud early so that Amumu kills you. You need to be reactive, not proactive in this situation. If you see him kill you, then you shroud.
Right.
Right? You need to use your shroud wisely because it's your defensive and it's your offensive to get energy. Right? Let's see. Why do you run back here, Ryan?
I think I thought I was pretty weak and that they were both going to get blown up immediately.
Yeah.
If I was still there, I would get chased down. And Galio might be coming from like Tri-Rush or something.
You know that Galio's pathing down right now. You'll see him. Right. You'll definitely see him.
Yeah.
The thing is, remember what we talked about with the initial R, right?
Yeah.
Imagine you are in, now you're here with R1, with R2. You Q, you E him, right? Let me go back a little bit so I can give you...
Even like R through to him back to power at that point and be totally
no, you win this, right? Let me go back a little bit, sorry. I think you underestimate how strong you were. Okay. So right here, you should have immediately R'd him, in my opinion, because he's out of position compared to his team. You're getting a free damage on him. Now you have R2 available. Look how low he's getting. This guy has 39 MR. You are the guy that can kill him. But you're not because you're scared. Right? But you waste your shroud here. That's 80 energy gone. That's 1 Q.
Yeah.
Almost half a Q, maybe. Now you R him, and you E him, and you whatever. Okay, whatever. You R out, right? Now, that could have been prevented. Had you killed him right here. Right? You go in, you put threat. Before this even shroud. You're on a Mumu, you put threat. You kill him. Maybe Ezreal doesn't die here. Right? Ezreal doesn't die here because you kill a Mumu.
Yeah.
Right, so now Kha'Zix dies, you killed the Mumu.
Yeah.
You're 1 for 1. We know Galio's coming down. You traded 1 for 1, whatever, right? But you would initially be in the fight sooner, so your team could put out some extra damage as well, and you're putting out damage.
Yeah.
So you would have at least minimum traded 1 for 1, as well as you could have maybe even killed Caitlyn. Probably not because she has sums, but instead of Ezreal dying 2, it would have been 1 for 1, right?
Yeah.
Galio's right here.
Yeah, that I think I could get and I wasn't even looking because I was just too focused on the fight.
Yeah, that you could. Let's see how he paths that. Maybe we can see what he does.
Yeah, I think he passed to the first ward while I'm fighting, then he passed to the scuttle.
Yeah, he passed around. So this is just. I personally think that's just unlucky, and you could assume that they maybe would dive you. It's pretty risky to walk around this way. Were you trying to go like here to here? To get back to lane?
I was trying to go up. There's no reason for me to walk that way because I was going to go up through blue anyway. So I should have just
went up this way.
Yeah.
And that would have been completely preventable. But that's just this to this. And this around?
Yeah, bottom of the scuttle, and then he like went like back and back up, and I didn't even think about it.
I honestly thought he was here.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong in making this decision. I think that's pretty unlucky that he walked around, looped around, and that again is because your team didn't have a pink here, and they had a pink here. The control ward, because you would have seen these 2 control wards are pretty bad. That's just unlucky, especially since you don't have cooldowns either.
I was super tilted when I walked into him there.
Yeah, they're trying to dive you. There's nothing you could have done better there. But at this point, his wave's slow pushing to you, which is really good, so he's gonna be missing CS. But he gets back to lane in time to catch it and shoves it into you. So at this point, you're getting even further behind. And the problem is because this all really happened because of your early game.
Yeah.
If you don't establish the fundamentals of a strong early game, your mid to late game is just gonna be irrelevant.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume that the rest of this game is going to be the same situation happening over and over. He's going to push and he's going to roam. So let's see. Yeah, he doesn't kill. You don't kill. Ignite? Okay, he died. Okay, thank God. Oh. So let's see.
Yeah. The Q was really bad. The Q slowed me down. I don't think I had flash. No, I didn't have flash. Otherwise I would have flash hearted.
So let's go back again.
I was just trying to get an ignite range.
Yeah. Ignite was fine to see that. So let's watch this. Right here, look how you eat.
Yeah, that E was terrible.
Yeah. So let me open up Paint for you real quick. Okay. You see my Paint?
Yeah.
Your E is gonna put you here, right? When you're right here already, right? If you E this way, you will be right here.
Yeah.
You shroud, and then you Q out. You save your ignite.
Yeah.
Right. Position your E better. You already know how to you already know what you're trying to do, right?
Yeah. This
Even
was
autoing the minion to get your fleet.
Oh yeah, I didn't think of that at all.
Yeah. Even autoing the minion to get your fleet. You know what you're doing. You know you need to E to gap close. That's some players don't know that. You already know that. Take it up to the next level and E the direction to gap close even more. Instead of closing this big, small of a gap, close a bigger gap, right? Prevents you from... Then you get a Q off. Because you're closer up, you shroud. Right?
Yeah.
Or maybe you would have just been in range to auto him. Right? Gap close better. Especially because your Q, you would have been hit him with the first Q initially, and it would have been the tip. The ignite was a very good play, last minute play, but you could still have ignite. And then hitting that CS there too. Don't forget, every single CS I see you miss, that shit adds up. That shit adds up.
Yeah, I'm like very unused to playing from like way behind, and that just throws my last hitting off like a lot.
Yeah. So you're still, Galio style's almost double your gold, and how do you really play? Like, what do you look for? How do you... You're slowly coming back in the game because you're getting these kills and you're catching these waves, right? They look at the CS. But Galio has a lot of kill gold because he's just had more presence on the map because of misplays that you could have prevented.
Yeah.
So Galio has a TP advantage on you right now. And there's really nothing you can really do. Something you can look for is to clear raptors, kill the small ones.
Mm-hmm.
And try to catch back up. Especially since Kazi's gonna have to clear all this. If you have nothing to do and you don't have anything to buy, clearing the small raptors is not a bad idea. So you're here, you're waiting for the wave. He heralds. What is your reaction to this? Do you give him the tower or do you try to fight him?
I should have tried to fight him, but Galio's dead. There's a bunch of people. Like, I think if I looked at the map better, I would have made a better call, because Jace is top, right? We got 2 people bot. Galio's dead. Amumu, like, he's strong, but he's not going to, like, kill me, I think, that quickly, and I can shroud, like, in and out, hit Herald, stall, right? I mean, if I was Amumu, I mean, maybe his Herald was about to run out, I would not have Heralded here. I would have waited for Galio to come back up, like, taking this first tower for free, and then put it down. Though I guess it's only a minute till plates, but I think I should have moved up to fight him, seeing where everyone else on the map is.
Yeah. So This Herald's gonna take the tower. You're not stopping it. What you can do is you can trade with a Mumu and kill him. Maybe kill him, right? So what is happening? Look at these pings. Immediately, your team knows someone's TPing here, right? You see the ping?
Yeah, I'm pinging frantically. Yeah.
Right? If that's your TP, you know he's TPing. What do you do?
Yeah.
How do you let him push the wave for free, or do you fight him? You're not stopping Herald, right? You hit the eye. You land the E. So why don't you take this back? Okay, you do.
I wanted to kill the Herald. I think I kill a Mumu here, pretty sure.
Okay, beautiful. That's
Down.
perfect. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. That's exactly what I would have done. So now you push it out. Gallia's really low from that fight. And then, how do you react to this? You push out this wave and you get a plate, or?
I think so. I don't think I'm going to get anything done bot because everyone is dead.
Yeah.
So I want to make them at least lose a little bit more. Oh no, I think I have a bunch of gold or something. Probably should have taken the plate, but
You have a lot of gold. I think you just wanted to reset because you were scared. But you could have maybe gotten a plate because you know Gallia was low from this, like here.
Yeah, I think I wanted to buy, but I think I should.
Look how low they are.
Yeah.
So they're low. You have vision of when they're low, and then
Yeah.
here you can push and get a plate, and that would help you close the gap between. Because you know Gallia doesn't have ulti or TP because they just had a huge ass fight bot. So you missed 160 gold here.
Yeah,
And that adds up, right? That adds up. That 160, you miss a plate. Those minions you miss, right? That could be a longsword. That could be your next item. That could be Merc Treads, right?
Yeah, I wonder if I could probably have finished Mercs maybe. I'd taken that.
Actually, let's see. No. No,
If I did that, I'd have to sell Reef.
Now you add the 160 and then the minions you miss. Yes, you would have.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now you have Gunblade, right? You hit a huge power spike. How do you
Now I
play it? Shroud?
I think I either ult over him or I E. That was terrible. I have no idea why I did that way. I think that was just nerves because I was so far behind.
Yeah.
It was just
E this way. Right? You know what to do. You E this way.
yeah.
And even
And
after, if Kha'Zix comes up, like you die here where you live. Yeah. And that's all because you didn't E this way.
Yeah.
Even if you E that way, you may have still died. Let's watch this. Right?
I think if I E flashed like right away, I would have made it. out.
Yeah. E flash is the correct play. But E in this direction just got you killed. Because you have to E flash, right? Respect people's CC. I think that's one huge thing. And E the proper direction. These are two very, very common things that I've seen throughout both of your games.
Yeah.
Let me make note of that. Okay. So now, we're halfway through the game. Because if you E flash, right? Imagine they commit to you under the tower, causing gets 2 kills even if you die.
Yeah.
But instead I
they're
think
both-
he dies there. Yeah. This you don't really have control over what you do. Okay. So why are you all mid? Do you want to play ARAM?
So what's funny is I've never actually played ARAM, funnily enough, since like it first came out 6 years ago. But no, so at this point I'm thinking bot wave is far, dragon is up soon-ish, so I think there might be people around there. I could move up to Jace, but I don't know if someone is invading our red, because they've been going through the jungle like most of the game.
Yeah.
And I figure at this point, like, given the gap is so wide, I just have to like be very close to a potential team fight.
Yeah. Um. So you're sharing XP mid with like 4 people, right? Now
Yeah.
look at this. Go back 15 seconds. You saw Jace pushing in, right? Let's see. Go
I don't
back.
remember if I was
You see
looking
Jace
at
pushing in.
it.
You're coming back up.
Red
Why?
team's turret
You
has
should be
been
rotating top. Dragon is not up yet. Dragon still has some time. You should.
Yeah.
You need to be catching this wave. This is why your CS is pretty low, right?
Yeah,
Because you missed
100%.
those lane CS, right? Okay, that's fine, right? But how do you recover? You recover by catching sideways. I'm happy you looked bot here and you're great, but I think you didn't look top. And
Yeah,
you gotta
definitely
keep
not.
like knowledge of both, right? Because okay, Chemo walked up and he goes and grabbed it, right? But what if you grabbed it? Right? You're not really doing anything mid. Ezreal and you are probably gonna be like hovering mid yet. So you do get the mid CS, which is fine, but that top CS is wasted. Look how much of it died.
Yeah, that's really bad.
And that's because if you had respawned and went top and caught all of that, not only does Ezreal get mid CS, but you get top CS as well.
Yeah.
Then someone can rotate bot and get this wave that's still pushing into you guys.
Yeah.
Big CS. Look side lanes. Try to look on side lanes more. If you are having trouble with rotating and macro and stuff, TP is not a bad option. Ignite. I would have ran a TP here instead of Ignite. So you reset here before Dragon. There's an issue here because it's almost up and your team's not working to get a clear vision, right? He's walking by himself. He's gonna get picked off if he misplays. So he's clear vision by himself. He can't really walk up and clear air. Dragon's already up. You guys are in base. Way too late of a reset. You can't reset if there's like 20 seconds left in Dragon. You're not gonna make it in time.
So is it like, because I think here what I was thinking is Kha'Zix is resetting, Teemo's top without teleport, and their team fight is a lot better. So honestly, I didn't even want to be near Dragon in case I got picked. So do you think it's better to just stick in the area in case they fuck something up, or just like
no? If you're conceding Dragon, you better be getting mid prio.
Okay. Okay.
Put a ward here or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, you switch the sweeper, but like if you had a ward, put a ward here. Clear this vision. You know they're going on Dragon. You don't see them mid. Clear the minions, and then they lose these minions. You get these minions. You get some tower damage from these minions, and now your team has mid prio.
Yeah.
You didn't have a big buy, and you could have just cleared this and then reset. You already decided you're conceding Dragon, right?
Yeah. What did I buy right there? I'm trying to remember if there's.
I think you bought Merc Treads.
Okay. Yeah, I think I really.
You backed with 500 gold, right? Now imagine you stay here, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're going to Dragon. Dragon right now. You can see the Dragon, you push this with wave in, it's huge for you. You get XP, you get gold, enemies denied that CS. And you're basically trading that for Dragon instead of trading a free Dragon, right?
Blue team is slain.
Yeah, there's a lot of times like that you're pointing out. To your point about like opportunities to get gold, where I'm just like not seeing free gold on the map, right? Or like not making it great.
And all of it adds up.
Yeah.
All of this gold adds up. That gold missed tier. Right? It adds up and adds up. That is why, like, some games you see, I'm 0-0-0, but I'm still able to kill someone because I build a lead off of gold, like minion gold. So good roam down. I am a little sketched out that you stepped up like that when you could have caught mid wave, right?
I'm basically just worried about us getting ace right here. So I'm trying to like, because I think they're about to die.
They shouldn't step up. But at least Teemo catches us mid CS, right? Like, imagine if this 105 was you, and then
Yeah.
you get this, right?
Yeah.
You'd have way more gold. So you're clearing vision, and you're scared you're gonna die. Ezreal should be able to hold waves, especially if the enemy doesn't have Baron.
Yeah, I'm just worried at this point that they're gonna do this, which is like they're so far ahead that
Yeah.
the wave wouldn't even like matter.
Jace should die here. If Jace lives here, I'm gonna be sad. Okay, I'm sad.
I think I come in and get a couple here. I was thinking about going on the Caitlyn, but I didn't have vision.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would have gone on her.
So your Ezreal should be queuing to clear waves, not stepping so far to get blasted by everyone. Okay, EQ, that's fine, that happens. But he should immediately Q. He should E out immediately. He should not be taking Q from QE combo. Okay.
Yeah,
So
he
that's
takes-
that's out of your control. You're on the side clearing vision, whatever. But they're diving in tier 2 tower. There's no way they should get away with it. You E, okay.
Shut down.
He kills Caitlyn. He kills Jace. I would have gone in and fought, I think. So now you run back and you try to help your team. Like, instead of walking here, I would be walking this way, right?
Yeah, I should have gone with Kha'Zix. I honestly didn't notice what Kha'Zix was doing. I think if I had gone with them, like, I could have gotten 4 kills under tower there.
Look at that. That's 2 kills at least minimum. Maybe not Galio, but let's see how you play this. I think at this point you're super afraid. Like, these guys are in ping. You should kill both of these guys right here. Okay,
Yeah.
miss the RQ. You
I think
kill
I get
off.
all the here. It's pretty free at this point.
Yeah.
Kill.
So,
But it's so late to do that.
Soraka doesn't need to die. Had you been here instead of here. Because look at this
Yeah.
distance, right? That's
Yeah.
equivalent to this.
Yeah.
You would be here. You would kill these guys, Soraka doesn't have to die. You don't lose this tower. Right? So these are just like the tiny, tiny macro plays that you gotta work on improving.
Should I have gone into those 3 at the tower after Kha'Zix died? Like, would I have been, like, fine there,
Yes,
do you think?
because they used everything on Cosmic. Look at this. All of their aftershocks are on CD.
Yeah.
Not his, I think. Yeah, no, his is on CD, yeah. So they just dove him. They used everything on him. Right? If you were there, you kill all of them. Pantheon doesn't have his E. Yeah, see? Doesn't have his E. They don't have any CDs. This is the easiest triple kill of your life. You save tower, and you save Soraka.
Yeah. I think Amumu still has ult, but he's pretty low.
It's fine if he has ulti because you kill him anyways. Like, it's fine that you cleaned up, but the better play was if you were there earlier, right?
Aced.
Yeah. Yeah, I got too scared off early by not being able to push in there because the
Yeah.
Pantheon was covering, and then I just got way
Yeah.
too far away.
He's just building his lead because of small misplays like this. And you're pretty even gold with like the rest of his team, so you can easily kill any of them. But Galio is a very, very high impact right now in the game. He shoved lane. Okay, he shoved lane. 1.6k. So you clear this and reset, I hope.
I think so, yeah. Maybe I ward and reset or something.
Okay, you reset? That's fine. Where do you go? You go back mid? The issue here is mid to late game, you lose. You don't have an option. And the reason is because you are running Ignite instead of TP. Because look at all this free CS he gets.
Yeah.
And he gets the pressure for free, gets free CS, gets free levels, while you have to stay with your team so that he doesn't engage on it. He doesn't TP it.
Yeah.
Maybe you can follow with your E, but you're banking on the fact that he's going to give you an opening to do that.
Yeah.
So how do you counter this? If I'm running Ignite and the enemy's running TP, how do you stop that? And to do so is that you have to force a fight, right?
Right.
You force him to TP, and you force him to use his TP. You don't let him split.
Yeah.
And what do you do if you're behind? And you can't force a fight, right?
Yeah.
And that all results back to because you're running Ignite and you didn't get ahead in lane.
Yeah.
Ignite doesn't scale as well as TP late game in terms of macro.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting to think about how much gold having TP can earn you through getting 40 CS off sidewaves or more that could never do with Ignite.
Sidewaves for gold and XP. 2, since you shove out, you deny the enemy CS, right? You're building a difference. You're getting CS, enemy gets no CS. 3, these TP plays, like with TP, you can come back to lane if something happens badly.
Yeah.
And then you recover, right?
Yeah.
And then waves at your tower. Another thing is TPing like flank wards, right? Like imagine if there was a ward here and then the enemy was pushed up. You could get your bot lane a double kill.
Yeah.
Puts them ahead, right? Ignite, you better be winning lane with Ignite if you run Ignite. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
So here you're catching this top wave, right? But what if a mid fight broke out? You don't have TP to catch. Right? They're already engaged. Yeah, okay, see?
There it is.
There it is. Galio has TP, but he doesn't need to because he has ulti. Imagine you're top, look at this. You TP here, you run around, you kill their backline.
Should I have gone top here if I had Ignite, or should I just have stuck mid?
Well, the correct play is to catch the wave, it's just your team's out of position stepping so far up. Like here, they see them. They see Pantheon. Pantheon can engage, and Mumu can engage really easily. So they shouldn't... your team shouldn't have been there. Pushed up. Ping them back. I don't see any back pings, right?
Yeah.
You should ping your team back if you're going to clear. You say you're on your way there, but you say be careful there, but you're not pinging them here. Right?
Yeah, I was pinging Galio.
Boom. They're dead.
Yeah.
If you see your team getting engaged on, and you're running Ignite, you better bet your ass needs to be there, or you're gonna get fucked like that.
Yeah.
So now you run down and you're trying to, I'm assuming, save the end. Okay, you go back and clear.
I think I clear this, because I don't really think I can
Okay, yeah.
Stop.
So you losing him. They used Herald. Recalling is the correct play here because so they don't end.
Yeah.
Are you gonna at least catch bot here? Yeah. You saw. Look how much CS wasted.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
And not necessarily by you, but by your team as well, right? Because you know the Indian's gonna get taken anyways, right? It's not.
I think I was worried they would try and end here, and so
Yeah.
build on further.
Yeah, that's fine. So how do you guys play this? He misses his kill. They're looking to push. What do? You eat him? Don't take this, please.
No, absolutely not. I'm not sure I needed to eat, but it doesn't really matter.
No, eating was good there. So your team gets flashed on. Poor positioning by your ADC. Poor positioning. And this is all just being Galio being snowballed. It could have all been preventable. He would not be able to EQ like that, like a freaking, like disrespecting, just EQing into like 10 people.
Yeah.
If you had not snowballed them.
Yeah.
And now at this point, we're just trying to make note of what you can do better to recover in this game. Galio ulti. Galio is not an ulti. You and Kha'Zix are flanking. This is beautiful. But how do you play this? Let's see. Galio doesn't have ulti. You guys should be fighting here. They're tanking the tower. Engage here. You need to engage here. With Galio ulted, also having a stopwatch wouldn't be too bad, but I think the entry's good by here actually. Not bad though. But he's fighting, right? You should have been with them. Fire? Good. He died.
I go in here because I think some people are coming, like are closer, and they're not. I just didn't see where they were at all.
Okay.
I wanted to stall that out a little and then back in.
Here you're with Kha'Zix, right? You should flank with them. You should be with them.
Yeah.
Hey, imagine you're with them down here, right? Imagine you both are down here. Right?
Yeah, I don't do a good job.
If you both are here, you immediately kill... You guys kill Pantheon together. And then you kill Amumu and Galio. Because Caitlyn and Jace are on the right side, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so then you at least trade 2 for 3. And relieve a lot of pressure. And then it also gives Teemo and Ezreal an opportunity to engage. But I think it's a lot of your positioning. Yeah, so Galio can do that shit because he's just so far ahead. Let's see. You clear waves, you farm. Okay. Ezreal is farmed. He's getting up there. So they're taking dragons. Teemo's coming up in there. Galio TP's on you. How do you react to this? You E?
I think I wait and then I think I eat a wall and then I think I'm fine.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. You got a TP. But at this point, you're even in levels. See? You're playing some situations correctly, if you say, because look at his gold lead, but look at the XP difference. You're the same level.
Mm-hmm.
So you're playing like some things correctly in the sense that you're not falling behind in XP and really not too far in CS, but you're falling behind in gold because you're missing out on these kills like here, right? These objectives, right? Like stopping them from getting the tower, killing them, getting their sprees, looking for like plays like up here that happen, right?
Yeah.
Like these kills shouldn't have happened. Those 3 deaths should not have happened. Galio should not have those 3. Take down 900 from them. Down here, getting these towers, things like that. And all of that adds up to where eventually the point that they have 1, 2 items over you and you can't respond to anything. So they just get a ban for free here because your team's dead. Okay, they still ban. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's like, if I do the math right, there's probably like a 5,000 gold gap that me making 4 better decisions would have fixed.
Correct. And I think something you need to keep in mind is you don't need to always fight. You don't always need to roam. You have to keep in mind, is this roaming the correct decision? Am I trading properly? Am I over-forcing a trade? Does the enemy have cooldowns? Did he just engage on me, use his cooldowns? Should I be hitting him back? Should I be sustaining? Should I be farming? Do I win this matchup? What are my strengths in this matchup? Right? And I think you understand how Galio works, you understand what he does, and you know when he has his cooldowns or not, because you obviously said, I go in here because he doesn't have this. Yeah. It's just that you need to brush up on the E, like early game in the E's. Eing out of his E's, Eing out of his W, trading not into his bone plating, and sustaining with fleet.
Yeah.
So at this point, Kha'Zix gets picked off. Galio can just run your team down at this point. Galio's a very, very strong champion. They get a free Baron. Kha'Zix probably just rage quit or something.
Yeah, he comes back like a little bit later.
He probably just DC'd or some shit, or reset. You're clearing. That's fine. At this point, there's really nothing you can do but clear waves, right? And hope for a really good team fight. Okay, let's see. Okay, how do you get yourself in this position?
I think this was like pure desperation. if I had to guess, I don't remember. Yeah, I see two of them here. I didn't think about the Akali at all. Or the Amumu coming up.
Yeah, that's just putting yourself out of position, like, because you don't have any vision in here. You just saw Pantheon clear that, right?
Yeah.
Stepping up like this, you even saw Mumu and Galio.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you saw them pathing this way because of these minions, but just very desperate play from you and very bad because if you guys had fought under a tower, you would have a higher chance of winning.
Yeah.
Get in here. Yeah, okay.
Red team's inhibitor has been destroyed.
So up there. Okay.
Galio is throwing a lot. Like, this game was a lot more winnable than I thought while I was.
Yeah, you do see how many times he dies with sprays. Like that one play here before, but look how you're clearing mid. That's fine, and you're fighting. Boom, big gold on for your team. You're clearing. You guys, if you guys hold this triple in hit, you win the game. Galio's dead. Your team should be looking to fight soon. Teemo, I think it's mental just boom. So how do you guys play this fight? You shouldn't be fighting Teemo top for waves, by the way. You should be in another lane.
Yeah.
If he goes to that lane, you don't control whether or not he goes to that lane. You just need to go to another lane. Unfortunately. And had you not been there and you were here, watch this fight.
I would have been here in time for that.
You would be in here in time to kill Jace. Jace has 2 MR items, but you have the Entry's Gunblade, so you should be able to kill him. Look how low he gets. Boom, he dies. It's Pantheon. Caitlyn, even Caitlyn's on the side, right? You could easily kill these two if you're there, but now you're delayed. Okay.
Double kill.
Okay. So, you RE again? I don't think it's really necessary to do that. I think you just R him, you empower auto, weave and shit, right? Because then you would have your E for here.
Double kill.
And you don't... I think you're rushing your R too much too. Yeah. So imagine you got R there, right? You actually can R Caitlyn and then E her and then deal a shit ton of damage to her.
Yeah.
Like, look how low she gets, right? Imagine she exhausted you. So let's play this really slow, right? You R, but you don't E. You just R, you get your passive. Okay, look at this. Pay attention to your energy bar. Okay, move the chat box. Pay attention to your energy bar. You are,
Yeah.
you E. You get 220 energy, right?
Yeah.
You Shroud.
Has been destroyed.
Yeah, Shroud was terrible.
Bad Shroud and you don't Q at all. You miss one passive empowered passive auto from your R, and you
Yeah.
miss a second empowered passive auto from your E. Right?
Yeah.
Look how much your passive does. 200,
Yeah.
like 70 damage, 250 damage. Plus restoring 20 energy. So now you've missed 2 passive autos, you Q, whatever, right? You walk out, you get your passive. And he dies, and you Q, but that's fine, but then you just R here. Imagine you just R to Caitlyn.
R.
Sorry?
I think this was just a panic R.
Okay, yeah, that's understandable. But right now, it's just those two. It's these two, right? It's these two guys.
I think so.
Here?
Yeah.
Imagine
This should-
if you had your E still, right?
Yeah.
You R onto Caitlyn, your R still does 200 damage because she's full HP, whatever, right? But then you ignite her, and then you E her, and then you auto her with the Empower passive. She's forced to exhaust you because you're on top of her, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Pantheon dies just because you are through that way too, and then your team kills Pantheon. And then, now Pantheon's dead, and then Ezreal kills her because she's low from your damage, plus he's not exhausted, right? Look how low she gets and through his exhaust.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Yeah.
And now, then what happens is he clears top, Ezreal's alive, you guys just ace them, and you guys clear this. Your inhibitor's responding soon too.
Yeah. Now we just leave it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think keep practicing with Akali, definitely. Definitely keep practicing with Akali. There's some combos, like, you gotta weave in your passive more. Keep practicing and weave in your passive. Go into a practice tool, like, let me show you.
Yeah, I just RE like way tue much by default when there's a lot of situations it's not the optimal choice.
So, a huge thing is you need to weave your passives in. Your passives is a huge part of your kit. And if you don't have that, it's gonna be really bad.
Yeah, I was just realizing today like how high the AP ratio actually is on your passive and like how much damage it adds.
Yeah.
Kinda nuts.
So let's see. Like I'll show you the comparison. So let's okay.
You try and turn the tower up.
Yeah, I'll just
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
okay.
You may want to
So this is how much your RE does. I'll show you. I just missed. Sorry, hold on.
There's like a weird fragment bug. You
No, you have to.
Notice that?
Let me. Yeah, no, it's not 100% landable,
Yeah.
but it's so if I RE right.
what I do. My enemies won't.
But what you did is you REE, so you didn't get a single passive damage off, right? That's so you only got one additional auto, right? So you REE, like even let's say you do get an empowered one, because I'm not gonna position myself to let's see. Okay, so right, so you RE and then you E, right? And then you auto. Even with an empowered auto, look how much damage. That's 455, right? How did I type things?
I think
And this is keeping in mind that we have no AP items. So this combo gets even stronger. So now, assume you passive, you auto, you E, and then you passive. Look at the difference.
Yeah.
It's a smaller frame, but it's still look at it's still a lot of damage. Now let's add in like Gunblade. Let's get a Gunblade. Right. Let's add in Gunblade.
Yeah.
And then even with the Gunblade, right? Well, let's say we're level 9. Like usually at level 9 we have Gunblade. Okay, so you RE and even with an empower auto, right? Like this is your DPS is even less because you weren't getting empowered autos.
Yeah.
Right. So now we do the R passive E. Look at the DPS difference.
Yeah.
And the more items you get, the more penetration you get. You do even more and more damage. So like at this point, like you're missing Qs too. Like you should be weaving in. Okay, so let me refresh my energy and my cooldowns. Okay, so we go full combo. Okay. So you want to play like slower as well. You want to save your R for execution, right? So I saw what you did was you like would go in and then you would R like immediately.
Yeah.
But what you want to do is you want to see if you can get them a little lower before you execute them. And I think that's another really big pointer. So even like if you wait a little bit, like let's see, I don't actually know how to like make them stop healing. Yeah, I don't actually know how to make them stop healing, but like look at the damage difference. From like the range. It's almost like 3 times the damage, right?
Yeah.
So if you can stall just a little bit extra, even more damage. But you can also use it for like positioning, right? So
Yeah.
some things I notice is like even like you, let's say you miss out on a Q. So like I'll do exactly the same combo you did, but I'll throw in a Q there, right? Right? That's with the Empower Auto, right? So that's 1,100. And now I'll do the same combo without the Q.
It's better for everyone.
Yeah. It's like a 40% damage difference.
Exactly. Just because you threw 1 Q out. Because you gotta remember, if you're running Conqueror, it gives you a stack. But also because your Q actually does so much damage, it's like insane. Like you gotta be weaving Qs there, but you're also not accounting for the fact that if you throw a Q in, you shroud, you get another Q off, right?
Right.
So you're actually accounting for the fact that you'll have more energy for another Q, as well as another passive. That's huge. That's really big. And that can make or break whether or not you get kills. There.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in general, I guess for that game, what are your kind of key takeaways for that game? Like, what do you think you could have done better?
Yeah. I guess if I break it up into different categories, right? Like
Yeah.
laning, there's in no particular order. There's 1 missing free CS. There's 2, which is a broad one, but trading at the right time, which is kind of a mix of 1 cooldowns, 2 runes, aftershock bone plating,
Mm-hmm.
3 jungler vision, right? And I guess 4 like how big the wave is too, kind of all at the same time. And then there's like the general kind of warding part of using it to give myself and my jungler, and other people, I guess, vision. And then like broad macro wise, it's like if I don't have TP, I better be near my team in case something breaks out and looking for something to break out. I gotta catch free gold whenever I can, whether it's, get it while dragon is being done and you're giving it up anyway, or, move, right,
Correct.
run from up. And then, then there's like team fight positioning around like watching for the cooldown to be blown and like just like being in the same neighborhood, right? So you can even just join the fight when you want to instead of running like 3 screens over.
Exactly. Those are like a lot of things, and it's a lot to improve on. I think if you fix those issues, these games where like the enemy is kind of like very abusive and just takes over the game, you're not gonna experience that more as often. And it really comes in with like kind of just continually practicing. Like now you know the game knowledge, right? Now you know if I ever play against a Galio again, if he's going to E at me, I'm going to E him, right? Simple to learn, easy to practice, and you apply that concept to more champions. Like, okay, LeBlanc, she E's at me. I mean W at me. I'm gonna E away, right?
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna try to shroud and like try to trade with her, right? When she uses her cooldowns, I trade with her. That's a good example. Other things like trading objectives, right? You saw that, oh, okay, I can see dragon, I'm gonna actually shove mid wave instead and take the CS, right? Look to grab the wave. You
Yeah.
apply that knowledge to other things, right? So enemies playing for third dragon, we're super behind. We're 30 minutes into the game, and an enemy's gonna guarantee get third dragon, we can't fight. What do you respond with? You go to either actually what would you respond with?
I mean, either you, if you have, I mean, there's different options, right? So I think the basic one is catch a wave, right? That's the most basic one.
Correct.
I think the second one is look to Baron if you have a good team to kill Baron fast.
Perfect.
And I mean, that's really the two big ones. I mean, if you have like
Yeah.
good team synergy and your base is pretty well protected, you can go push top like or something. But
Exactly. You can push, you can clear vision, and you can put pressure on them that they maybe think that you Baron, and then you kill them, and then you Baron, right?
yeah,
So you could do stuff like that because if you're out of position, same thing if you're out of position for Baron, right? Enemy's already gonna take Baron, you know they're gonna take Baron. React, take a tower, take push out the wave so they can't push with Baron. Take Dragon, counter jungle, stuff like that, right? And these things don't just apply to Akali; they apply to any time you play this game. Just having map awareness and being able to trade, right? So okay, so what? I traded a kill. So like if I'm a jungler, so what? My top lane died, right? If I'm bot lane, I better get a kill. Some shit like that, right? It's fine to lose gold. It's just how do you trade it? Like I see my mid laner room bot, my enemy mid laner room bot, right?
yeah,
They get some kills. I wasn't able to react to it. Fine, whatever. How do you respond to that? Is kind of how you improve your gameplay. How do you respond to certain situations? Because there's so many different situations, right? Like what you could have done better was follow him in 3v3, right? But
yeah,
that's not always going to be the case. Sometimes he's going to go bot, and the way you can fix that is, okay, I'm going to shove out the wave and deny him CS. I'm going to take a plate to make up for the gold that my team missed, and things like that. Constant looking for objective trading.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of that's just like kind of macro. But in terms of just micro, like just Akali mechanics and stuff like that. Continue practicing. How many games do you have on there? Like 100? Less? More?
I have like 75,000 mastery points, I think, so probably 100-ish. So I'm getting more consistent mechanically, but it's pretty up or down. Like I'll have a game where everything's perfect, and then I'll have a game where I'm like eating in a wrong direction, and I think I eat in the right direction, so I Q, but it doesn't go in, like that.
Yeah. That's just playing with good mental. But to give you a perspective, the old Akali, you remember how basic she was, right?
Yeah.
But I had like 1 million mastery on her, and I still was learning stuff. Like this new one, I even miss these combos, and I even have room for improvement, and that is because I only have like 600, 700 games on her. I have room for improvement, and you definitely have quite a bit of space for improvement. And as you continue practicing and playing, you're going to notice how much you improve. Like it's without a doubt, like you can see that you understand like the basic combos, you understand how to trade with your passive in lane and stuff like that, when to use your E, stuff like that. It's just you have to like let's say you're playing at a certain level, you just take it up to the next level, continually improve your macro and your micro, and you'll notice like how much of a difference it will make. But you do have good basic like trading knowledge and Akali mechanics. Like I mean, most people don't land the RE. Obviously, you can see that I missed the RE on a fucking dummy, but Like even I miss stuff like that. So even if you miss combos, don't ever get discouraged. Just do next time. I'll land the combo, right?
Yeah.
Don't think too harshly on your mistakes. Learn from your mistakes. Learn from and how you can do better. Okay, you got dove and you misplayed. How can you do better? If you get dove again, what will you do better next time?
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think like in general, like work on these like small macro things. Work on these like kind of Akali mechanics and stuff like that. And don't be afraid to play rank. Have confidence. You can play. I mean, like look at your OPGGA. We you're struggling a little in gold 4, but like in like gold 1, like you make these kids look like a joke. So platinum 4 you even play well, right? So gold 4 should be a piece of cake for you. Silver should be a piece of cake for you.
Yeah, the MMR hit on the loss streak is brutal. It was like playing like flat MMR, then lose a bunch. Then I finally won one game, and I got promoted like two divisions.
Yeah.
And then I won another game after loss, and I got like 20 LP. That's like it's hard to watch the difference.
Oh yeah, definitely. Losing a bunch it's hard, it's rough, but you can definitely win it all back. Like I've gone on like I've lost 14 games in a row before, but that was when I used to like more tilt play. I usually stop at like 8, but don't let it discourage you. Learn from it. If you're not in a mental state where if you can get the same teammates again, don't play again. Just take a little break. Go like eat your like salads or something or cookies. I don't know. But yeah, stuff like that. You've shown you can perform. Stay strong mental and fix up your mistakes and continually improve, and you'll see yourself just progress in elo, and you'll see your performance. You'll instead of like having like being like 7-7 or something, you might be 14-0 next game, some shit like that. Cause you can, you can give TP a try as well. That's kind of like the summary I have for you. Is it seems like you never run TP. Maybe this one game, but you were top.
Only when I'm top, yeah.
Yeah, give TP mid a try. Play on full focus and like be aware of those things I told you. Wording, map awareness, making correct trades, right? Making good trades.
So what do you think? What do you think? I guess is like if I had to like think in order, right, in terms of like how to implement like these things. Like, are there particular ways that you would use to improve them, or particular ones you would prioritize like first over others?
My priority of all of these things, like to fix the most, is CSing in map awareness, because there are situations, and this is not very good, but there are situations where you are out of position, but you can get away with it because you're so far ahead. Right? If you're 2 levels up, you're going to 1v2 people. Right? CSing, getting that XP, getting that gold. Items make a difference. Levels make a difference. And CSing would probably be the number one thing I would say to work on that, and as well as map awareness. All of these things are really small, and you can improve on them over time. But the two big ones is just CSing and like map awareness. Like all these little small things, like these little tips and advice I have, you can easily fix over time. Just like make a note here, do it in the game. It's very straightforward, right?
Yeah.
And a more complicated thing is just knowing where to catch waves, knowing kind of where you should be, knowing where, like, if you're at a proper spot for a fight, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But in general, I don't see any other improvements that you really need other than these kind of big noted things.
To be fair, that's pretty much everything.
I mean, the thing is,
True,
yeah,
true.
it
Like at the end of the day, I mean, they're all areas. I mean, it's funny to like watch the game back, right? Because I've definitely like reviewed my own game. I
mhm.
find that like super helpful in like what whether it be a sport or any video game, right? Like I'm a
Yeah,
big fan of that, but it's crazy to see how much the game hinges on like a handful of moments, and there's a handful of reasons that makes those moments go one way or the other, and that just decides the entire game, right?
exactly.
Which,
Like going back to that Cassidy game. That one play giving Cassidy 1K gold probably swung it towards their side.
yeah,
Stuff like that, and like understanding that why that was the incorrect play to be clearing vision there by yourself is good, because then now you know next time if you're ever in a similar scenario where enemies pressuring and there's really nothing on that side, you don't need to be there, right?
yeah,
The issue comes is with a lot of people is that they make the same mistake and they don't think that they're wrong. You
yeah,
need to acknowledge your mistakes and you need to fix them. Otherwise, you'll be that one dude in Platinum 4 with 3,000 games, and when I
yeah,
OPGG you, and I'm like, huh, nice. So some shit like that, right? Um,
yeah,
and I do like the fact that you're looking to improve and you're trying to improve. So that is the first step. Is trying to improve and not thinking that you're the best player in the game. You may be the best player in the game, but God, you got to be humble about it and
there's a better
just
player in every
perform.
other
Yeah,
game. So
there's a better. There's always gonna be someone better than you, no matter what, unless you're like Faker season 6 or some shit.
yeah,
But like that's what I'm saying. There's always room for improvement, and there's a lot of these things that like you can touch base on, you can slowly improve on, and if you fix these, you'll notice how much better you'll be playing. You'll
yeah,
notice how much easier these games will be. And then what happens is after you fix all of these, you look at it again, and then we do the same process, right? We look at
yeah,
on why you lost. Like even I still do it. At the end of the day, I look at my games and I basically am doing the same thing. What did I
yeah.
do wrong here? Obviously, my list is like not like as long as this,
Yeah.
and it's a
I know.
couple of seasons because
You're in
playing.
Masters now.
Yeah, woof, yeah, yeah, no, yeah, but like, yeah, just like making mistakes, right? The more mistakes you make, I like to look at deaths as mistakes.
Yeah,
It's not always the case, but it's a very good indicator that you've made a mistake if you're dead.
yeah,
Um, Missing CS numbers too, right? CS numbers are a huge indicator. If your CS is low, your kills better be high.
yeah,
If your kills are low, your CS better be high. Because if not, you're missing gold somewhere on the map.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
that's kind of it. Yeah, that's like just keep on practicing, fix these mistakes. You can do it. You can definitely do it. It's just all these simple things, and you know the order on what you kind of got to work on.
Yeah.
Just keep them in mind when you play. Play with full mental, and you'll be set.
Sick.
I expect to see you in Gold Plus soon.
I certainly hope so. I mean, honestly, like I have moments where I can see myself hitting across these areas,
Yeah.
and like
Hmm.
low flat feels easy, and then
Yeah.
I have the moments where I'm not, and I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
I look at silver with silvers, and like I know why.
Yeah. Oh, and it's not just one game where you perform well and you do all these things right.
Yeah,
It's a consistent. You have to consistently perform. That's why people are high up on the leaderboards. It's because they make the least mistakes and play well, right? The less mistakes you make, the more you'll win. and more frequently too. Like you have to be a consistent player. A consistent player will always surpass a like inconsistent insane player, right? You could be faker for one game, but if that's one of every 100, I'd rather have an NA mid laner for 99 of the games, right? Some
Yeah,
shit
it's
like
like
that.
more. It's not about how hard you win a game. It's about how many games you play.
How many games you can perform at a high level. And that
Yeah.
is where the satisfaction comes in, is when you look at your history and you go, it's all blue like this. Like imagine this, right? Duplicated like 5 times. And that all you did, you scroll through. I scroll through your matches, you see all blue. It's satisfying, right? And you can
Yeah.
definitely do it. Play like this, fix these mistakes, and you'll see blue all over your match history. And maybe some red because of impairs, but nothing you can do there.
Sometimes you get autofilled. Yeah.
Yeah, or autofill. Yeah, that too. But yeah.
Or Akali gets banned. That happened once, which is surprising.
Yeah, I think she's getting banned more because of people's use of LCS.
Yeah.
Cool. I think that's kind of it. I don't have any other things to review on there. That's kind of the things I definitely know you can improve on. Um, you can definitely do it. But if you have any other questions for me,
No, I mean this was amazing. I really appreciate the review. I really appreciate the time, and I think this experience is a good example of why I kind of started watching and stuck on your stream in the first place. Right? Is like seeing the positive attitude. So yeah, seeing the good plays, but like yeah, there's a lot of people on Twitch that make good plays, right?
yeah,
But there's not a lot of people on Twitch who give a really pleasant streaming experience, go through replays of their team fights live to like recap, like I think that is a lot rarer. And I think that's one of the things that like sets you and your stream apart that I wish every other stream was like, but people really like drama. So it doesn't work that way,
yeah,
but
Twitch drama. Yeah,
it's a
yeah, it's
lot.
all Twitch drama. But yeah, I appreciate that, man. That's. I'm glad you enjoy the stream and you stay around. But I think like this here is a very good starting point, and on what we have note on what you can improve on,
Yeah.
and just like executing now, right? Now we have the knowledge. We just need
Yeah.
it to be executed. And when you execute it, then you practice it over and over. You practice these macro decisions. You practice these practicing your micro, improving constantly and constantly, and you'll just see your tier graph jump up.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe it.
All right,
Sweet.
cool. All right, if you don't have any questions, I will end it there.
No, that's all I got, man. Thank you again. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.